Howdy.
Howdy.
What's up, y'all? What's up,
What's up, dude?
What's up, Beau? How we doing?
What's up, dude? So good.
It's a little early today. I apologize for changing the time up on everybody one more time. I got to go to Philly and do this charity dinner, team dinner with Connor Barwin and his Make the World Better Foundation. It's a wonderful foundation, and so is the Chris Long Foundation. We're going to get together and raise money for our causes tonight at Stake 48. And at the beginning of the season...
Bring me a tomahawk back?
Yeah, I'll bring it up. I'm going to... You know those machines that, like, vacuum seal stuff?
Yeah. I'm sure a steakhouse like that can wrap it up real nice for you to go.
Like a 2-day vacuum seal?
Yeah, for sure.
Because I don't come back till Wednesday.
Hey, man.
But like last year, we set up the inaugural team dinner, scheduled it. You know, as it got closer, it's Niners week. It's the day after the Niners game at the Link, which of course was terrible. I knew it was like a funeral. And the next day, all the guys I was hoping would come out to the event, like, not gonna happen. And I wasn't gonna ask. Now a couple of them came out, and I really appreciate that. And Big Dom came through. This was like the day after he got into it with Greenlaw. And he was like a legend for a day in Philly and a villain everywhere else.
Forever.
He's still a legend. And
He's been a legend, dude.
He walks through the door. Yeah, but it went to the next level.
Yeah.
You know, and he walks through the door in his Cartier glasses and his sweatsuit, and it was like the Red Sea parted. And nobody cared anymore that, you know, like Brandon Graham was there, or like, you know, yada, 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 or Lane Johnson, or what the cause was. It was like the Pope is here.
Yep.
You know? He was like washing people's feet in a bucket. No, he wasn't. But that could be an auction package. Honestly. So
how much day in the life of Big Dom?
Rex Ryan. I don't know. It'd be the other way around. I think Rex would want to be the, you know. So, anyways, this year we scheduled it, and they were like, Chris, do you have any say? And I was like, let me look at the schedule. And I saw the Panthers game, and I was like, that's the day. So yesterday, when Xavier Legette nearly caught that ball at the goal line, I was like, oh, I have jinxed the Eagles, and the event's just going to be dog shit. But no, everybody's in a good mood. QB wins, right?
Yep.
QB wins. Jalen Hurts reels off another QB win. All right, so we're going to get to the Eagles in a little bit. But first things first, guys, anything you guys want to talk about from college football this weekend?
Bama's not in.
Oh, God.
Send him home.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. What's the reaction in
Bevel Conway is the college football playoffs without Bama.
You're really that excited?
Wow.
Yeah, man. It's the first one, and to think the team that's been dominating
Georgia?
I mean, like, Georgia has been, but like
Alabama has been dominating. Georgia.
No, I know, but like,
Alabama's always been in it, and in your mind, like, in your mind, you would probably think there's no way if you thought one team wasn't going to make it, like, you weren't going to say Alabama wasn't going to make it, and then seeing everyone freak out about it is really why I like it.
Yeah,
I think
Saban freaking out.
He was freaking out.
He's kind of caping for them why SMU shouldn't have been in and who did they beat, but it's just like Alabama didn't.
If I was
in.
Nick Saban, I would want Alabama to never go back. Make me look as good as possible.
As good as possible.
That's hate, Chris. Put an end to hate.
I'm joking.
Stop hate.
I think
no,
Dabo.
20-second timeout on hate. Timeout.
Timeout. Just 40 seconds.
Yeah.
I think Dabo in the ACC championship let SMU come back, so the playoff would have to keep Alabama out. He's playing a little chess.
Kevin Kernick, I'm not blazed. You guys got to grow up. I'm not always high. This isn't like
No, that's facts.
high school. That's facts.
Just fact.
I'm not high. Oh, I thought he was saying that is facts.
That's fact.
No, it was a pun.
You're not always high.
No, I'm really not always high.
I know.
You know, I walk in here in the morning. I just what did I do to make you think I was high? Just breathe.
You're looking a little glossy, my guy. It's just a little studio.
Oh, I got a head cold.
I just feel like you get in the chat, you have nothing to say. It's like, let me say this.
Yeah, no, I know. It's like, well, welcome, chat. Welcome, chat. What did y'all think about the college? Who do y'all want to win the college football playoffs? Because obviously Virginia barely missed it. What?
Best bet. Put your money on Georgia. Georgia has the easiest path.
Well, dude, someone said in the chat, Carson Beck is cheeks. And dude, I've been doing this thing lately where I've been watching football at like this awesome bar, Hat Tricks in Tampa, unbelievable wings. It's like a pure sports bar. It's a new experience for me.
Hat Trick.
Go watch college football, drink some beer, I had some Labatt.
Labatt, baby.
Labatt Blue.
What a treat. It's like that's like a new experience for me. I love it. Cheer with the the everyman at the bar, watch the game. But I have a bone to pick about college football.
You are the everyman now.
Yeah, baby. But Wisconsin, for the first time in 20 years, our streak is over. We are not going to a bowl game.
On Wisconsin.
Sorry. It's really devastating.
Well, yeah, because you lost the Axe, dude.
We lost the Axe. You guys were all talking about the rivalry game last week, and I didn't say a goddamn word because we lost.
Oh, we did too.
Fashion. Yeah, I wasn't ready to talk about it. I needed a week to kind of wallow in my sadness and fear for the future.
I'd be sad too if I lost to PJ Fleck ever.
Yeah, exactly. It's not a good thing, man.
No,
not.
I remember when y'all had a proper program.
Me too, man.
So I kind of like Arizona State.
I was gonna say they're cheeky.
I kind of like that.
Sneaky.
I kind of like their story.
Yeah.
Kenny Dillingham.
You know.
Shout out to Denzel Burrell.
Yeah, Denzel Burrell, our guy.
Yeah, he works for Arizona State. Been there for a while now.
And Penn State, one of our best friends is the wide receiver coach up there. Shout out to Marcus Hagan. So, only one team can win this thing. And I think I'll finally tune in for all these games.
Bro, they're about to
means a lot.
So much money.
It's gonna be awesome.
This is like it's weird. Like I love college football, but like this, just thinking about the future of this, it takes it to a new level.
Totally. And then we were combating the whole like guys are opting out of bowl games thing. I mean, like, okay, well, let's take some bowl games off the table and put more of the matchups that we're gonna be held around the TV into a playoff format. And so I love it. I don't hear anything about guys not playing in this playoff. Have you heard of anybody not playing in this playoff? It's great. And now they're talking about buying. Have you heard this? Like sports owners are talking about buying. I knew you would. He's nodding. Kingston, what do you know about the sports owners talking about buying? It was the Bucs owner, right? He was talking about how people are going to buy college football programs now.
Yeah, and kind of like we were talking previously with like private equity and in NFL, similar. I mean, like we've been saying, college football is like a minor league pro sport, and more evidence of that. There's so much money to be made.
There's a lot of.
So can Greenlight buy a team?
Yeah, let's start a fund.
Yeah.
Can we? I mean,
maybe
donate in the chat. We'll buy a team.
That's fire. Let's find like the best D3 team.
What would a D3 team?
No, let's get like an FCS school. Let's get like a.
No. Let's get a D3 school and then build it up. Let's build it up.
It illustrates
real life
change where now if you can invest capital up front, you can create a really good team quite quickly.
Yeah.
I mean, agency.
It's like video games in real life when you do like all the story modes on NCAA and pick your team and build them up and get money and recruit. And
my son Luke, 5 years old, begging me to play because he can't really play 2K. So when Waylon, who's 8, asked me to play 2K, I always team up with Luke, and it's just like the worst because Luke's guy's in the stands. Like Luke's guy's just running in the stands. Like he's back court when I'm in the front court. When he gets the ball, he'll get the ball with like I play with the 90 whatever Knicks, like a legend team, of course. And he's got Ewing. Ewing has the ball. Ewing's taking the ball up the court. I'm like pass. Anyways, he doesn't like playing the game. Needless to say, he'd been begging me to play a simulation, which I'm like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah.
So I finally go upstairs to play him. He's got it all set up. He basically picks a team and simulates the season.
Yep.
And watches the results.
Yep.
I do that.
Yep.
But he does it, and he's like, there's so much joy in this activity for him. He's grittying the whole simulation. Like, there's 82 games of him being like, oh, look at that. Look at that. He's like, hold on. Who won Rookie of the Year? Who won MVP?
Future GM.
No, it was funny as hell, dude. The simulation thing, I don't really get it, but I guess at his age, it's the best you can do.
You don't got time. He don't got time to go through a whole season.
You don't got time for that, dude. Neither. And when I realized I didn't have to sit through like a 40-minute game of 2K with him.
Look at that.
I was like, all right, I like this too. All right. You know who'd like to simulate the rest of their season probably is the Chiefs. This is getting a little close for comfort too often, I think. I know, like, guys.
Devil magic.
Dude, no, I think it was honestly in the beginning. It's kind of a paradigm shift for me at this point, because for a lot of the year, I was like, hey, they're living a little dangerously. We know they're really good, but this is too close for comfort. Now I'm starting to be impressed with a team that I don't think is that good, but could win it all. Like, if you think the Chiefs can win it all, which you can never count them out. Like, and we're talking about counting. We're not counting a team out that's 12-1 or whatever it is. But I just don't. I think when you watch them play, if you have an honest conversation, you take the logo off the helmet, you take the last 2 years out of it. If you just landed on Earth and had never seen football, and you were like, watch some Sundays. What do you think of the red team? Red team's not that good. Red team's really good at the end of the game. Red team knows how to win close games. But I don't think the red team's like a world-beaten team. And I don't even like, if you're watching Mahomes right now, there are moments where that Mahomes like QB1 on the planet comes out. Mm-hmm. But you can't tell me watching what we saw in the 4 p.m.s that guy's not the best player on the planet right now. And I'm talking about Josh Allen. For what that's worth, he's still got to beat him in the damn playoffs. But I'm watching the Chiefs, and I'm just kind of like, I'm almost impressed with them. You know, everybody else is like, what's wrong with the Chiefs? I'm like, a lot. And they find ways to win. Yeah. You know what I mean? And
15 straight one-score games.
Yeah, and last year, you know, there's a lot of people that are using last year as an example of why you shouldn't count them out. And, like, just remember, I'm one of a few people who were very loud about this thing. Do not count the Chiefs out. They're going to win the whole thing. And they did. I don't have the same feeling this year. That's not to say they can't do it. Home field advantage is going to be the key, especially when your defense is playing the way your defense is playing. Like, last year, the reason they were able to stay afloat through the drops, through tackle play, which people kind of forgot about because of the drops, and the tackle play was terrible. And the tackle play played into the drops too, because the more you got to hurry and throw the ball away because guys are throwing no-hitters up front, you're going to be throwing balls into contested areas of the field. Zones don't, expand where you can just find soft spots and that sort of thing. Like the Mahomes we saw a couple years ago, better receivers, better time to throw. And now he's got, an aging Hopkins who can still go get it, right? You got an aging Kelce, Schuster's making plays, and Hunt. Pacheco's back. But I don't look at this team and, like, stack it up against some of the other teams in the league. If Mahomes isn't in this offense, it's not that great of an offense. And it starts with the tackle position. And to see them sign Humphreys, who was supposed to be like a stopgap, we talked about how excited everybody was that he got in the building. Not much changed last night. I mean, he was under siege, and then Humphreys got hurt. Guy hadn't played in years, like a couple years, right? Coming off an injury.
Yeah, but Mahomes is so good at avoiding the rush. And I texted our group chat because I took a foray into sports betting for the first time all season this year. And I bet the over on sacks, okay, which is 6.5. I bet the over with sacks, and I parlayed it with the Chargers win. And I was like, oh, this is fucking genius. Like, Saints O-line or the O-line for the Chiefs is banged up, and the Chargers have a great defense. They got Mack, they got Bosa. They had 6 sacks in that final drive, okay? Pat Mahomes evades that sack, gets the ball to Kelce, and they kick a field goal off the upright to win. I'm like, oh my God, like I just lost this bet on this. You know what I mean? Like it's unbelievable.
Dude, I lost my ass yesterday.
I was losing my mind. Now I understand why you guys come on here and bitch about these bets every week. I get it. I understand. It's unbelievable.
Dude, it's wild. And I stared at it, bought the Chiefs down to 3, and was like, I should buy them down to 2. And of course, the Buffalo disaster that happened to me in the 4 p.m.s, and happened to a lot of Americans because that was a pretty public play. It's a public year. Sometimes you got to be like, oh, I'm gonna go public because it's a public year. But I look at Kansas City and I just think with the shots. I mean, Palmer, that shot was there in the first half. They couldn't hit it. Multiple explosives, a lot of explosives over the last few weeks, especially. I think that's the thing that worries me most about this team. If they have a fantastic defense like they had last year, then you can get – and there were moments last night where they played well, but they only got, 10 pressures, not bringing pressure last night. I mean, on 26 – 10 quarterback pressures, was that? No, that was the Bills got 10 pressures. Yeah. I think the Chiefs might have got even less.
Yeah.
Outside of bringing pressure. Spags has to dial it up. If Spags has to dial it up too much and in situations where he otherwise wouldn't, I think you can end up in trouble. And I think Omenihu coming back helps, but somebody besides Chris Jones has to win a lot of rushes for them, because the coverage is not as good as it was last year. Snead being gone makes a huge difference. Willie Gay being gone underneath makes a difference. Watson being hurt. There's matchups now that when you come into a game against the Chiefs, there's some guys that they look like food. And that's not something I'm used to seeing, right? And I think also McDuffie could play in places that he was most comfortable last year. Snead leaving changes that. So there's a lot that they've had to cover up on defense, and they're still doing a pretty good job considering, the points on the board ultimately is what matters. But if you look at them the last month of the season, like the Panthers game, the shots that the Raiders hit last night, I mean, McConkey's down. Who do you have to worry about?
Right.
This guy Stone Smart's killing you. Palmer's killing you. There's guys getting open. He's got
Johnson
time.
Played pretty well.
Huh?
Quentin Johnson played pretty good for the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Or Jesus, for the Chargers.
For the Chargers, yeah. Quentin Johnson caught a ball early in the game that he wouldn't have caught any other game, I feel like.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you're going to get people's best shot as well. And that's part of it for the Chiefs is Chiefs fans will tell you, we're getting everybody's best shot. And I totally agree with you. But that's the reality. So are the Lions. The Lions are getting everybody's best shot. The thing about the Lions is they have the capability to blow teams out, which I know winning close games is a big part of winning in the playoffs. But it also matters what your point differential is and that sort of thing. Otherwise, we wouldn't even look at it. It's kind of a barometer for how good your team is. And so my biggest worry is if they don't get home field advantage, which with the Bills losing yesterday, it looks a lot more likely that they do, that it's hard to go on the road without an elite defense in the NFL and win. And that's what they had last year, and it allowed them the opportunity to get into the dance. The plays they made in that Baltimore game. Part of that's an assist with Baltimore not running the football. Mm-hmm. I don't feel as good about a Baltimore rematch. The first time they had them, they had the receivers on the field, right? They were healthy, and Baltimore committed a ton of penalties, which is not, kind of out of character for them. That could happen again in the playoffs, but Chiefs are going to have to live dangerously to win it all again. And so
I'm worried about the Chiefs getting down against a team early in the playoffs, and I feel like they've been in these close games, but they haven't really. I don't know. You see all the stats early in the season of Mahomes coming back down 10 points and winning and things like that. It just feels like lately they're grinding out these not sexy wins, and I'm worried about them in the playoffs getting down to a team I don't know,
like the Ravens.
Bills, like the Ravens, exactly.
Because I don't think they have the guys to really eat up points in a hurry, and that's all I'm saying. Hey, this is incredible what they've been able to do. It's incredible. They're the number one seed this late in the season. So we're nitpicking a little bit, but if we're being honest, there are some things that are concerning. They're winning this game in a similar fashion to the way the Chargers had to win last week. It's a low-scoring game against the Falcons. I mean, that team got blown out by the Ravens. Ravens were too much for them. And then they're playing a tight game with the Falcons. It's the same thing against the Chiefs at Arrowhead. So they came out in the third quarter. I was super impressed. Got into more third and manageables. It felt like the whole first half. The Chiefs did a good job in keeping them in third and long. And so, for Harbaugh's crew, they're still in the thick of it in the wild card. And what did Harbaugh say after the game? I'm only wounded. It's just a flesh wound or whatever he said.
That was such a good quote, though. Like, he seemed so hurt also. Like, you just know that he is like, you know, like he didn't sleep a wink last night. But, okay, we talk about the Chargers. They're missing a lot of key guys offensively, and they still hung in there with the Chiefs until obviously the very last drive. The thing that's so impressive to me is, and you mentioned it briefly, like when it came to be crunch time, Chiefs charged down the field and they won that game and ate up 4 minutes of clock.
Yeah.
And that's what they're so good at.
That's what they're good at.
Situational football when it really, really matters. And that's all that the playoffs is. I'm hoping I'm caping for the Chargers a little bit. I love Harbaugh. I just like the way their team is built. I think their offensive line is really good. And that's probably some of the reason for the lack of pressure. But if they get some of these dudes back, like Lad McConkey, they could make a pretty serious playoff push, and I hope they do because I like that team. I like Herbert a lot too, man.
I like Herbert, yeah.
Piggybacking what he's saying with all of the injuries that they have right now, do you guys believe in moral victories even when you lose, like for a team like this?
No, I don't. Not
last night.
Not for the Chargers because they've been knocking on the door so long, and I don't think in the West, and I don't think until they kick the door down and beat this team. You know,
handily.
They got to beat them.
Yeah.
And they haven't done it with regularity. There was a time where I thought this was close, and I think it will be close in maybe a year because I think the Chargers have done a lot without much. I mean, hey, their offensive line's very good. They also gave up 5 sacks to the Falcons last week, so Chiefs just couldn't find a way to get him down. I will say this, though, and this is to wrap it up so that nobody thinks I'm complimenting the Chiefs, okay? I don't think they're that talented. I don't think that they have some of the positions that they had on lock last year. I mean, corner being one, for sure. And that's a big, big deal, okay? I don't think they're that good, but they're playing to a level late in games where they can get out of trouble, and that's the whole thing. Beau, you talked about it. That's playoffs. That 4-minute possession, it begs the question, what was the Chargers' third down situation? I can't remember before they kicked that field goal. Fourth down. What was it, 4th and
11? The last
11?
field goal?
Yeah.
Yeah, 4th and 11.
You got to wonder
19.
You got to wonder if part of it was if we can get a better play on third down, and I would have played for 4-down territory and tried because it's just different when Mahomes needs a field goal to beat you. It does factor into the way they call plays. And the way they operate, right?
Yeah.
And so when you give Mahomes 4 downs, effectively at midfield or whatever it is, after that bad kick, Dicker line drive kick, you take it to the 40.
Yep.
If I'm Harbaugh, if I'm Greg Roman, and I'm sure they were thinking about this, maybe the right thing to do, not on 4th and 11, but had it been 4th and manageable, would have been to go. Mm-hmm. And cement that you had to get in the end zone if you were the Chiefs.
Yep.
And, because what you get still is Derwin James killed Pirine on that. I think it was 3rd and 10. Yeah, it's 3rd and 10. Derwin killed Pirine. I don't know how Mahomes got out of there to make that throw. It was like a jump pass, vintage Mahomes. That's what I'm saying. That guy is still there. He's still Patrick Mahomes. It's just his greatness is not going to be unlocked with the group he has around him with tackle play. But it's the same thing on 3rd and 7. He's almost like I've seen him do this before where he'll run right up to the line of scrimmage. And it's like Tom Cruise in Mission Impossible where he's going under the lasers. It's like there's a laser across the field at the down marker, and he knows right where to be. And he almost contorts his body to be able to stay behind it and make that throw. And he's always pulling coverage up. It's just so hard to get them off the field in 3rd and manageable as long as they can stay in 3rd and manageable. But last night at times it was harder for them to do that. They're help at the end of the game. But what happens if a team comes out with a solid game plan and really gets a lead on them?
It's interesting when Chris Collinsworth pointed this out, but he said when Patrick gets out of the pocket and is running towards the line of scrimmage like you were just talking about, he was saying he's not looking to run. He's looking to throw, but he wants to pull the defense towards him.
He wants to pull coverage.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. And it's wild that he's able to do that every single time.
So routinely.
Every time.
Because the 12-yard tiptoes, they hurt too.
Yep.
And the last thing you want to do is give up a first down on a quarterback scramble. That's the thing that guys really get chewed out about. And the second level guys feel that, but it would be better if they stayed, on their coverage.
Is there anything you can tell a defense where, like specifically that 3rd and 7, is there anything? Mahomes is running up to the line of scrimmage. He's got, I think, 3 or 4 charges in his face. 2 are coming straight on. 1's coming from the line of scrimmage. Is there anything you tell the defensive line that, like, all right, if you're coming sideways from the line of scrimmage, you see he's pretty bottled up, should you tell a D lineman guy to at least look and see if there's a target to drop off onto? Does that make sense?
No, I mean, I think generally if there's like a crosser who's sat in a hole and you're the backside 3 technique or end, and all of a sudden the play's all the way over there and you're humping it, like, yeah, you could divert and pick him up for a second, but like mostly your job is to take out the quarterback. And so, that's what puts them in such a bind, is like if he pulls coverage off, they're going to convert almost every time. And so that's vintage Mahomes, and it's still there. But I do think Josh Allen right now, I'm comfortable saying he's the best quarterback on the planet right now.
6 touchdowns.
But the whole thing is like Mahomes has owned this decade. So if we're talking about who's got the best, Hall of Fame credentials, or who's got a chance to be the best quarterback of all time, like it's not a conversation right now. Mahomes has done a lot more in his track record as far as like winning's concerned. But if I had to draft a quarterback right now, and I'm not being a prisoner of the moment because it's a slow cooked take, I'm probably taking Josh. And that's no disrespect to Mahomes. I just haven't seen enough of it this year. Like going into the playoffs, Josh is the best quarterback on the planet.
He's an alien. He's the best quarterback in the universe.
That's what McVay said. Well, there's some other planet that they're playing football on. The whole, like, there's probably another Earth out there. There's probably another Josh Allen out there somewhere. But as far as on this planet, yeah, I don't know.
Something else, another entity that is the best at what they do on this planet. Little shout out to BetMGM.
Oh, BetMGM, absolutely. BetMGM has made betting easy and seamless all season long. We all have some win totals. We're sweating as we close out the season. Dr. Fax has been hitting his prop bets, and I'm having a decent season myself for the most part, except for yesterday. Hopefully, you have been able to pick up a play or two from us to use on the BetMGM app. And if you haven't signed up for BetMGM yet, use bonus code GREENLIGHT to get up to a $1,500 first bet offer on your first wager with BetMGM. And just a reminder that BetMGM's got your back with second chance on first touchdown scorers. All season long, BetMGM is offering you a second chance on your first touchdown bet. When you place a wager on a first touchdown scorer bet, and he doesn't score first but scores second, BetMGM will return 100% of your stake back in cash. Be sure to take advantage of this offer, and remember, use bonus code GREENLIGHT when you sign up to get a $1,500 first bet offer on your first wager with BetMGM. Happy hunting. Just be careful in the 4 p.m.s. When everything when everything tells you it's the Rams, and you're like, yeah, I feel like betting the Bills. I feel like rolling it over and betting the Chiefs. Just be careful late in the day.
Your man crush is clouding your judgment.
He did cloud my judgment yesterday.
I think so.
Because
I was overthinking that one too.
What I didn't think,
you should bet against him, but then just bet his props high.
No, man.
Even if you think they're going to lose, just be like, you know what? Even if they lose, Josh Allen's great.
I did, but I didn't bet it big enough.
Yeah.
Like the over was a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Because when all the signals say take the Rams, then you know that the way they're going to beat them is a shootout. Like they weren't going to win a low-scoring game against the Bills, in my opinion. So, hand up. I mean, just a dummy move by me. But it was fun for a second. Like, there was a time late in this game where I was like, holy shit, they're going to win this thing.
Smack.
I mean, it was crazy, dude. Yeah, that Mac touchdown, and I don't know where we start. I think where we start is giving.
Let me start it off with a game ball.
Okay, give a game ball out.
Puka. What a guy.
Guy's
dude, I actually have a man crush on him. Remember when we interviewed him?
How many man crushes can we have?
Wait, man crush Monday.
Man crush Monday.
Yeah, man crush Monday. My man crush Monday is Puka, man. He's a great dude. But like how cool is it? How cool he is, how calm and collected. Then an absolute fucking baller, dude. 162 yards, touchdown, rushing touchdown. I had my fantasy team. I forgot to pull off JT from the Colts bye week.
Yeah.
And Puka absolutely carried me to a win. Like, what a good dude. Like, I love that guy.
He did it for you, Beau. He remembers the Toyota interview.
Yeah, he does.
That we did at the Super Bowl. We love that guy. And I don't mean to be hyperbolic, but when Puka and Kupp and Stafford are on, I don't know of another triplet group in the NFL when you take the sum of the whole that's better. Who's better?
Burrow, Higgins, Chase?
I don't know.
And I was just about
to say. Close.
I was just about to say.
Montgomery Gibbs.
What if Higgins was there?
I'm talking about
Jefferson,
receivers. I'm
Addison.
talking about two receivers.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, like
Darnold, Jefferson, Addison.
No, because the quarterback's better. Stafford's better than Darnold.
Historically, yeah, but I mean, Darnold played great yesterday.
Okay, but what I'm talking about is when these three guys are at their best, I don't know. Like, that's a Hall of Fame quarterback there.
Yep.
Like, to me, and Burrow's going to be there. Higgins and Chase are great, and maybe that's the other one. But I just, these guys, when their backs are against the wall, and I think that's what this whole thing reminds me of. It's like a TV show that we all love. We love McVay. We love Kupp. We love Puka now. But it's mainly been Stafford, Kupp, McVay. And I feel like they've been talking about canceling this TV show for the better part of 5 years.
Yeah.
And every year these guys are like, nah, we got another one in us. Like, don't let them kill us off. Don't let them convince us to sell parts. We're not hitting the reset button. And the Rams have stayed relevant because McVay's a hell of a coach and Stafford's a hell of a quarterback, but also hitting on Puka. When he left the game for a hiccup yesterday, I was like, oh, they got a shot. But when you have all three of those guys on the field together with McVay's offense and the offensive line doing as good a job as they did yesterday, Buffalo, that was the 10 pressure number that was stuck in my head.
Yep.
Buffalo had 10 pressures. Not good enough.
Nope.
No sacks.
Nope.
But the offensive line and the play action pass had something to do with that. The way they run play action, the way they're able to run the football. Yesterday, got in those condensed formations. We talked about that, Nolan.
Yep.
And, if the Bills are in too high, they're going to challenge you to run the football, which they always do.
Yeah, you're always down numbers in the box. Like, if you're going to stay in too high, they got all those gaps. Like, extra tight ends in the game, the receivers in condensed splits, they're down numbers every time.
And that's where I'd like you to, bring some more edge pressure early.
Yep.
When you're seeing those condensed splits, because when the splits are condensed, the space is condensed, and so is the distance that the blitzers are coming from. It took them a little while to challenge and play more single high, but the point is, I just am so impressed by Stafford, by Kupp, by McVay, by Puka. Puka looked like the best wide receiver on the damn planet yesterday. Like, he really – he has flashes where he should be talked about in that class. He's not maybe Jefferson. He's not – but he should be up there talked about with those guys, dude. The way he catches contested balls is like – the ball he caught on the sideline in the second quarter was the body control is unbelievable. He's so tough.
I think he just
For
threw
bigger
his hands
body,
behind
too.
him, right? He wouldn't even look at the ball. He just threw his hands where he'd think the ball would land, and he caught it.
Somebody said, CK in the chat said Darnold's better than Stafford right now. I don't know about that.
Oh.
You might be a
Hannah A
in
the chat.
Are you going to post bail prisoner of the moment? Huh? Who? Hannah said what?
Hannah's
Hannah
been
A goes. She's been ripping off some funds.
$12 total to us.
Hannah,
Thank you,
appreciate you.
Hannah.
Question: Stafford was the better QB than Allen.
No.
You gotta understand. You're asking Chris that. And that's his name.
No, but no, because Allen also did 83 on the ground, and Allen's throwing the ball to he's down Coleman, he's down Kincaid. The Rams had their guys; they were at full strength, their backs against the wall. And really, do we have to do the who was better yesterday? They were both incredible. Yeah. Who's the better quarterback? Josh is, but that's because he's the best on the planet. Matt Stafford has been unbelievable of late, and just a guy that, for the beating he took in Detroit, for him not to fall apart late in his career, I've just been waiting for it to happen. Not in I hope it happens, But like eventually you're like, you guys like Buddy Lee, dude, from the jeans commercial.
Yeah.
You can't kill the guy. It's unbelievable. You can't kill this core group. They won't die. So for the Rams to go back against the wall at home in a game where you kind of pictured it maybe like James Cook's going to be able to run the ball. The Bills fans are going to take over the stadium. You know, Josh is going to go off, which he did, but they were able to outscore him, and part of it was that block punt.
Yeah.
You can't go on the road and give up a block punt like that to a team that's, you know, they've already defined the script of the game by jumping you early, and you play that game down 10, down 17 the whole game. Now, there is something I want to talk about here. In a game that's that closely contested, maybe this is what it comes down to, is coaching. Is coaching and decision-making. And I thought Sean McDermott had maybe his worst game of the season. Now, there were other moments, like the Houston game, where I thought he wasn't great. But there were multiple opportunities in this game for the Bills to get back into it. In my opinion, we always talk about the middle eight, guys. As players, we used to always hear about it. Before the half, out of the half. The 8 minutes in the middle of the game, 4 before the half, 4 after the half. Where, especially when you're the Bills and you have a chance for a 2-for-1, you're down 10. I thought they were wasteful. I thought they rushed up to the line on 3rd and 2, 1:15 to go, almost at midfield. And instead of, like, get your best play and run it, and that might be a run play. You might be in 4-down territory considering the script of the game. I probably would have been going on 4th and a couple inches, which might have affected the way I call 3rd down. But instead they rush up to the line, and they get in a pass play and end up punting the football. So you miss the front end of the 2-for-1, and then you get it out of the half, and Shakir drops the ball. And, you know, it's one throw that maybe Allen wants back, but I also think Verse is kind of in the window, so he's kind of throwing it around Verse. But Shakir's got to catch that ball. And then at the end of the game, in my opinion, where they really lost the game was, what was y'all's opinion? Do you think on 4th and 7 in that situation, up 3 points, McVay was going to go for it?
Yes.
You do?
Yeah, I think
on 4th and 7. Did he say that after the game? Did they ask him about that?
I don't know, but I just think you compare the distance of the field goal and then looking at the way Josh is playing.
Yep.
Like you got to go for the score there.
And also the other thing that comes up, and Greg Olson brought this up last week with the Falcons. I think it was the Falcons. I can't remember. But he talked about it was the Cardinals, Vikings. The difference between when a team's gunning for a touchdown and when they're trying to tie the game. When a team has to score a touchdown, like the Bills, they're going to use all 4 downs. It's going to be really hard to get them off the field. There's reason to believe in that scenario that if you go for it and you don't get it, you're still okay because there's a chance the Bills are going to be playing for that field goal. They're a little bit less aggressive. They might not be using 4th down. So however that would have shook out, they decide to back them up to 3rd and 17. If McVay were not going to go, I would have said, in a heartbeat, force him to kick the field goal. Now, only McVay knows that, and maybe he's talked about it. But when you back him up to 3rd and 17, you're a defensive coach. Him and Babbage, who have been getting a lot of pressure, decide to go 4 down and try to pressure that group. But you have to know, if you were afraid enough to push them back, they were probably going to go on 4th and 5. So instead of playing it like it's 3rd and 17, play it like it's 4th and 7. You know, force a 4th and long. Make them think about it. They didn't do that. They couldn't get a rush, and then on 4th down they zero up. And I know that the tackle for the Rams is he's false started. There were calls that maybe Buffalo got for sure. Mac Hollins had a tug on one of the touchdowns. I'm not going to do the calls thing. Having said that, though, I thought McVay and that group did a great job versus 0 because early in the game in the red zone, they actually had a rare stop in the low red when Buffalo zeroed up, and I think Stafford missed the guy in the corner of the end zone. It was like a corner route. He went somewhere else. So they were ready for 0. They hit Puka, and then that's it. And to me, going down 10, Josh still had a chance, right? You saw how quickly he ate up 90 yards or whatever, or 80 yards. The worst mistake he made of the game was lining up to sneak the football with a dead clock on the 1 yard line, sneaking, getting stopped, calling a timeout, which makes it a fucking onside kick game, which is like they said it's 7%. I think it's closer to 0.07. And taking the ball out of Josh's hands. That big son of a bitch is going to sit on the sideline now. You can't tell me, especially when you come out of the timeout and run the same damn play, you run a sneak again, that you couldn't have just lined up and done the same damn thing with 50 seconds to go, kick the ball deep. How long does it take for Josh Allen to complete a pass to get into Lance Bass's range indoors? Lance Bass. You know what I'm saying?
That was crazy.
Lance Bass, Danny DeVito.
Bro, that was like, I was screaming at the TV. I understand there are like decisions that coaches make and some aren't popular, but to me there was like zero upside.
When you run the first sneak, you should know that if you don't get it, you're immediately lining up and running it in again.
Yeah.
Or don't.
You need to have a 1-2 play.
Down.
I think you. Yes. I think that was actually one of Tom's better moments in the box too, because he was critical of that like right off the bat, and he was actually like very passionate about that. You haven't seen a lot of like fire and flames from him, or like just general emotion, enthusiasm from him in the box. And like Chris, he called that out right away, and I thought that was good. Like that was definitely the biggest.
Tom was,
and also I think McDermott mentioned too that for that final punt, which was like critical moment, they only had 9 players on the field, which is a pretty rare coaching mistake for the Bills there, you know.
Dude, just a mismanaged game, mismanaged defensively. I don't know if there was a better way to play those guys. I think the matchups were just tough. Like, you can't sit in zone coverage against Stafford in that group. They were picking them apart. And then when they manned up, it was just flags left and right. So, you know, like, overall, just an amazing football game. I think it was a very unique challenge that the Rams posed in their form yesterday, that I don't think the Bills are going to give up 45 points a game in the playoffs. It's not like that kind of thing. They got Milano back. Yeah. He looks a little rusty. He's been back for like 2 weeks now out there in the arm brace. Micah Hyde came back. He's on the practice squad. You know, he's like kind of work. I don't know if that really matters. Maybe they get a little healthier, but overall, it's just it was a tough matchup day for them. Like it just was. Mm-hmm. So
that's our girl Hannah A in the chat busting out her wallet. Another $1.99 question here. How do the Bills DC couldn't contain Puka? I think he's just a really tough matchup problem. They do a really good job with those motions pre-snap, moving him around. They do a lot with him on end arounds in the run game and things like that. But then also, like, he was just making great plays.
Yes.
Like, well, you can't defend against that.
No.
Better get ready because they got Ama.
I think they match up better against the Lions. I really do.
And that's why
I think they do also.
I really do.
That's my best seat is going to next week's game. Bills at Detroit.
Yeah.
After a loss.
Yeah.
It feels like a must win for the Bills.
If they want
home field,
it's just a huge litmus test for them. Yeah.
But you know, they could go to 3 losses and, you know, pull that thing up there. I mean,
but I just like 2 losses.
We got some 8 and 5 teams behind them.
2 losses in a row at this, like in December doesn't feel good.
It doesn't feel good. No, it doesn't feel good. But not that the offense needed any more firepower, but it could have helped early to have Kincaid back.
Mm-hmm.
Could help to have Keon Coleman.
Yeah.
You know, those things matter. But overall, it's just a situation where, like, the Bills can win a shootout. They easily could have won that shootout. If they don't get the punt blocked, you know, I think they got a much better chance. I think the Chiefs have a harder time winning a shootout. I think the Steelers have shown that they can win a shootout if they can get the ball in the red zone. So you talk about, like, kind of the ledge after Kansas City, Buffalo, and Pittsburgh. It goes like Texans, then Ravens, then Chargers. The Ravens are still capable of greatness because of the quarterback, and they can score. So, listen, there's no dominant defense. There really isn't like a truly dominant defense in the AFC this year.
No dominant.
Steelers are really good.
They're really good, but they're not dominant.
Yeah. Not dominant. They were early, but they're not right now.
Yeah. No. So
before we move on from this game, I had this as my Bevel Conway. I just thought it looked beautiful. High scoring game. Lots of great plays. You know, I'm with you, Chris, where I don't like indoor football as much, but
yeah, it looked
I
good.
thought this was a good uniform matchup. stately.
And
Good.
real fast before we hit our MRP, because this was our MRP game from Friday, but Stafford, just speaking to how great a game he played, he was 7 of 7 for 97 yards and 2 touchdowns in empty formation. Entering the game, he was 9 of 26 for 86 yards and a pick all season.
Wow.
Ridiculous.
No, they had their best. They had their best game plan. McVay scares the hell out of you. He's a great coach, dude. He deserves a lot of credit.
A lot of credit.
And you talk about coach of the year. If they had a coach of the last 5 years,
You're right.
what the guy's been able to do, just keeping this group
How many
together.
times have we said, like, oh, the Rams should sell, or the
3?
Rams are done?
3?
Like, every year they're scratch and clawing if they're not in first place in the NFC West.
So here's a stat, and it's one of those Sean McDermott stats. 6 touchdowns, 0 turnovers, and lost 2. 6 touchdowns, 0 turnovers. Teams prior to that, or prior to yesterday, with that stat line, 245-0.
Mm-hmm. It's wild.
So not good. And then the Rams play the Niners this Thursday night. They are 6-1 in true Thursday night football spots. But Shanahan has owned the matchup. So what gives? And I think this is a spot, honestly, where San Francisco, from a betting standpoint, Macon's not in the building right now. And this is Thursday night football. I think it's a San Francisco spot is what I kind of worry about. I feel like they circled the wagons yesterday and just beat the dog shit out. What happened in that game? Can you tell me real quick? Because
they just absolutely beat the brakes off the Bears. Like, Purdy was connecting with Kittle. He was connecting with Jennings. The young kid Garendo came in and looked just as effective as Jordan Mason ever did. They were up 24-0 at half, and the Bears had 4 yards of offense.
I think sometimes, like, losing Christian McCaffrey, it can allow you to, although you lose some stuff in the passing game, you can just say, hey, from a run game standpoint, like, let's just commit to who we are. Mm-hmm. And there's no, like, hey, we're going to get him back in a couple weeks. Like, let's just assume he's not going to play a lot the rest of the year. Yeah. Let's put our head down. And you don't need, like, Trent Williams makes a big difference in the run game. But to run on a group like Chicago, you can just be schematically sound, run your shit. And that's what they did. It seemed like the run game and the explosives. I don't know. I was watching on the side TV. Mm-hmm. It seemed like they had
super explosive.
Whatever they wanted. And
it was cool. That kid Garendo, he had never started a pro game and only started 1 game in college in his whole life.
Yeah, he ran like a 4.3.
He was at Wisconsin. Yeah.
Yeah.
He transferred out of Wisconsin because of Braylon Allen. And, yeah, I mean, he played well. He's quick, man. He is fast. I think he's a track star in high school as well.
So that'll be a good game Thursday night. I really do think so. And pretty impressed, or more so from a distance before I watch the tape, but, like, that's an interim head coach game. Hey, usually that's supposed to favor the Bears, right? You got Bosa down. You have Trent down. You have a ton of injuries that you've already sustained. The team kind of looks like shit. That's supposed to be a Bear spot.
I had a 5-leg parlay that needed the Bears.
Yeah.
I did not want to keep watching.
Yeah, no. That got ugly fast.
Yeah.
That got ugly fast.
Yeah, it did.
Okay, so anyways.
MRP from our Bills-Rams.
Why don't you guys make me a short list while I take a leak?
You got it.
You're going to think I'm going to
some
else. I'm not.
Early submissions. Kiko Alonso, Chris Everett.
Kiko Alonso, holy shit. I haven't thought about that dude in a minute.
Jim Everett, Chris Everett.
Chris Everett? Yeah.
Jim Rome joke.
Chris Everett?
That's good.
Yeah. Roscoe Parrish.
Call me Chris again.
See what happens. I will.
I
will. Okay.
Richard Roll, that's a good one.
Dante Whitner.
Like
Dante Hittner. Really?
Any Paul Posluszny reference?
There are a couple in here.
He had a Pro Bowl year.
Paul. That's my old teammate.
Yeah.
Nice. Oh,
Didn't you see him?
Right?
Didn't you see him when you went down there a couple weeks ago?
Did not.
Let's each have one to recommend. So we'll each have one when Chris
is going to
walks
say
back in.
Paul. Chris is going to say Paul too.
I called Dante Whitner.
Somebody said Tyler Bass.
I bet.
It's Lance Bass.
I bet Chris is going to say piece of.
What's the other team?
Bills and
Rams
Rams.
and Bills.
Oh,
Yeah. I bet he's going to say Pisa Tina Isamona.
Tyler.
All right, we each have one for you. Nate, who's yours?
Paul Podolsky.
Paul Podolsky.
Didn't you play with him? He was cool, huh?
Old teammate, yeah.
Dude, he was a great
Penn State
player.
legend.
Great teammate.
Paul had a great career. It's just the Jags were really bad while he played. So like people.
But our
didn't...
defense, like I can't lie, the years I was down there, our defense wasn't that bad.
But he's an example of a guy that if he played somewhere else, like everybody would know who he was. And I guarantee you, younger people don't remember Paul.
That's how I felt about a lot of people in the locker room when I went down to Jacksonville.
Right, that's just the NFL.
Yeah.
All right, who else?
I had one. Kiko Alonso.
Love it. The first thing I think about with Kiko Alonso, unfortunately, is like, didn't he kill Flacco one day?
Mm-hmm.
Like
and everybody went after him.
Oh, it was like the Al-Shire thing.
Mm-hmm.
Was it just like the Al-Shire thing?
It just
about, was a slide
yeah,
too?
slide and came over the top. And that was the one like Joe Flacco gets up a little slow and is,
Wow.
It was a bad one.
I got OJ Atogwe, who played with you.
OJ was a hell of a player. OJ really is a Stanford guy, like a ball hawking dude back there. Loved OJ. All right, and I'm seeing Leotis McKelvin.
Dante Hittner is in there.
Hittner was a beast.
And another teammate of yours, Pisa Tino Isamoa.
Yep.
I got there.
He was a dog. I love playing with Pisa. But I just saw Brad Butler, UVA offensive tackle, in the mix. I'm going to let y'all pick this week,
Brad Butler, UVA.
You're going to go with Brad Butler?
Wahoo Wah.
Okay. Brad Butler. Congratulations. This is a good poll. Brady Dodson. That was his name. Brady Dodson. Okay, so we're talking about the AFC right now. The Bills, the Chiefs, Steelers, man. Steelers really impressed with the way, at least just glancing at this thing, Pickens is down. They're able to spread the ball around. It was slow going early, but they kind of found a way to get the passing game going. And
Scotty Miller, come on,
your guy,
Scooter,
your guy,
my guy, my buddy. He had a couple nice catches, man. I think he didn't know he was going to be up until like 2 minutes before. You know what I mean? Like getting ready that George Pickens was going to be out. So
that's life in the NFL, isn't it? Hey, Nate, when you used to find out if you were going to be up or not, depending, like, what was that like?
It was the worst because in Jacksonville, it's like game day. There's 53. I mean, there's 53 people on the roster. Game day roster is like 45 or 47, whatever it is. And so like there's float players where you don't know if you're going to be up or not.
Right.
And like the way some teams will let you know outright, but some teams don't let you know so that everyone has to be prepared.
Yes.
You have to prepare like you're gonna play, which now in retrospect, like I understand it. Like guys, like if you hint to a guy, hey, you might not
But
play.
that's kind of treating us like children a little bit.
Well,
Like in other workforces.
But it's human nature.
Like if they were like, I'm not going to tell you if I'm going to need you today until like right before we go.
There's also protection against an information leak too. Because if you're bringing somebody up, that means somebody's going to be down.
Yep.
And they want to keep that in house.
Yep.
But it does kind of like it's a mind game.
It's a total mind game. And then it's something too, like you get yourself worked up. You think you know what? Like I had a good week. I feel like I'm gonna play, and you get in that locker room.
Wrong.
And the dude you think that like you've been played way better than, you've been seeing him get chewed out all week. He's up and you're not. And you got to go out there and do that stupid ass workout with all the inactive guys. Before the game.
What was that workout like?
Oh man,
Strenuous?
It's not strenuous, but it's
Just like, bro.
I
was out at the club last night.
Yeah, come on. Yeah.
No, but
just
then
don't
you
wanna
still
do
got to
it.
go to the hotel. Do you have to go to the hotel if you're not up?
Like yeah. Like when
Yeah.
we're in Jacksonville, everyone, all 53 is there.
They wait till 10 o'clock p.m. and then they're like, hey, you're down tomorrow. And then they're like, we're going to be checking your bed, though, in about 45 minutes.
check everything, and then you have to get to the stadium early enough to look at the board and check it out to see if you're up or not.
And does
So
it
you can
depend?
make
It
that.
depends on the team whether or not they actually let the guys on the sideline or not. They have like a
I've
box for guys.
I've never been on a team, thank God. I think that like if you're gonna do that, like I would rather just stay home.
Oh, really? So I thought you were going to say I want to be on the sideline.
No, for sure. But like, if
you're gonna have me in this luxury suite, if you're gonna have me, then I'd rather be home.
Yeah, like why do I have to go through traffic and do all this if you guys gonna put me in the suite?
I agree. Give those guys a day off, or have them on the sideline. But bottom line is, when Pickens is down, you kind of wonder what they'd look like. He hadn't missed a game, I don't think, in his career, as physical as he plays. So, Russ continuing to make good decisions, spread the ball around. We were talking on the ride in today. It's like, people thought he was dead last year. I mean,
people thought he was dead. Yeah,
and we were saying, like, what could the reason be? Well, Arthur Smith could be part of it, but I think sometimes, like, and I'm speculating, when you get later in your career and the noise starts and you feel things changing with your body and you're just like, I am 30 or I'm 31, 32, you start changing shit depending. Like, I tried a lot of shit late in my career. I'm not talking about like steroids. I would have looked a lot better. But I just mean you try different training mechanisms. You try different, nutritional deals. You change your mindset. You might like
start eating kale.
Yeah, you might start eating fucking kale. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know if Russ maybe went to Denver with a different mindset.
He just needed a change,
and
he just needed something different.
And got the change for sure. And I think Sean Payton was probably a bad fit for him. I don't think Sean Payton and him were a good marriage. Like, and that's okay, because like, look how good it's like we talk about with a divorce. Those two people might go be happy like elsewhere in different situations. It's the same thing with Sean Payton and Bo Nix. And it's the same thing with your guy Bo Nix. And then
one more game,
Russ
like
going
Baker,
up there and being in Pittsburgh.
Look at all these. A lot of guys get Darnold. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You get dudes in fresh spots. It's like a whole new world out there. And I feel like that's what Russ is doing in Pittsburgh a little bit. He's got a great head coach too. Like, I don't know how it's possible for people to still sleep on Tomlin as much as they do, because he's fucking great, man. Like, he's a great coach.
He is a great coach, and one of the things I thought they did a good job of yesterday from a game plan standpoint is, like, let's not let Myles Garrett wreck the game. He wrecked the game in the snow like a couple weeks ago. And it was kind of like the Cardinals and the Seahawks getting ready to play Leonard Williams again. Okay, but I think that was a big deal. And then on the other side, you get Highsmith back. Hayward has a couple sacks. That dude, for an interior lineman playing this well late with gray hair in his beard, I mean, dude's an absolute legend.
Hey, you know who else had a big play? Keanu Benton, nose guard from Wisconsin, had a sweet pick.
He did.
Key play of the game.
So did Landon Roberts. Landon Roberts knocked down a big fourth down, and then you sent me a video last night. Because I told you all this. Landon Roberts is one of the hardest hitters I've ever been around. The guy gave me a damn concussion and walked through. Okay, binked me and walked through. Like, seriously, I had to tell Matty P. I was like, "Hey, I think I should probably take the rest of the day. Like, I'm really not trying to get out of reps this time. Like, I think I have a,
my goodness."
Now he blew up a pulling guard yesterday on the TV copy. The noise. We can't play you video because the NFL is gonna send a drone and kill me or something.
Just airstrike.
It's like all of a sudden I start, I'm seeing other podcasts use video. I'm like, oh, maybe we can use video. They're like, but can you play that noise for the microphone?
Yeah.
Can you play the noise that Landon Roberts?
Hey, make sure I get that. I want that to come through.
It will.
You're gonna hear it. Everybody in the whole people downstairs.
Everyone wants to go through the TV cop. It's the last play of the first quarter.
Do you hear that? Can you run that back one more time?
Dude.
That is the sound.
Obliterated him.
Oh,
like absolutely obliterated him.
He is so physical. And wouldn't it have been cool if you could have seen that? Wouldn't that help grow the game? We have listeners in Japan. We have people streaming in Yugoslavia. Wouldn't it grow the game if I could show them? They don't have Red Zone. They don't know what the fuck that is.
Why they worry about us? They got to go find meth streams and all of them.
Meth streams?
Yeah.
Just make it all open source, just like the NBA does. And then you can show whatever you want, and everybody becomes a bigger fan.
Crack down on Adam Schefter.
Yeah.
Dropping the meth stream stuff. Why you got to yell at us?
Yeah, don't yell at us.
Yeah.
We're just a little podcast, man.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Fuck you guys.
So the Steelers have, and this is a funny quote from Jameis after the game. He's like, "I don't think the Pittsburgh Steelers beat the Cleveland Browns. I think the Cleveland Browns beat the Cleveland Browns." and then you know, the thing to remember here with the Steelers is they got Philly, Baltimore, and Kansas City down the stretch.
And Cincinnati in Week 18, if Cincinnati's cooked, right?
Yeah.
But they could be like, oh, fuck you guys, we're going to ruin
Steelers are one of the best teams in the league.
Yeah.
If we were to power rank, let's go right now. Power rank the teams in the league. Power rank them. The Lions are 1. They've earned it. Okay.
Chiefs, Bills, Eagles. Where do you put those 3?
Eagles.
I think the Eagles.
Eagles.
We're going to get to the Eagles.
Steelers.
Eagles are like the inverse of the Chiefs. The team is fantastic. The quarterback is up and down.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? The Chiefs have one of the best quarterbacks on the planet, and the team is kind of up and down.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't really know, but I would put Philly ahead of Kansas City.
Okay.
Just because of the quality of the team.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Now, the Bills are the second best team in the league, in my opinion. The Steelers there's a case to be made that the Steelers are the third best team in the league. There is a case to be made, and a lot of that will be settled when Philly plays Pittsburgh to see how that matchup looks.
Go to that game, Chris. Let's go to that game.
You like
It'll
them
be
over
fun.
Minnesota?
Who?
You
I did leave Minnesota out.
Yeah, like
Who do I like over Minnesota? Is that what's the question?
Steelers. The Steelers. Do you like them over?
Yeah, bro. Like honestly, I think they're right there. Well, how can we? I think the most
like a game like yesterday.
It goes Lions, Bills, and then those 3-4 teams. I don't know. And
Russ is playing so well.
That's the point.
Like Russ is playing so well, and I think that elevates them.
I think there's like a confirmation bias with the Steelers in a negative way after watching them in the post Roethlisberger era, where we're like, yeah, we can't take them seriously. The offense is just, if they ever play well, it's smoke and mirrors. Like this is a different group.
Yeah,
it really is. If Pickens is healthy, okay, the receiver core, this is the same group that was like bending over backwards to try to get a guy, right? And they did eventually in Mike Williams. But overall, with their defense, who I said is not dominant, but is a good defense, really good defense, and the way that the offense is playing, they can win shootouts. They can win low-scoring games. They're one of the best coach teams in the league. When you get into a playoff scenario, Russ has been to a Super Bowl. You know, Russ has won a Super Bowl. Tomlin, been to a Super Bowl, won a Super Bowl.
Yep.
TJ Watt, the whole group on defense, they're battle tested.
Mm-hmm.
I think
deep now with Highsmith back.
With Highsmith back, I look at them and I'm like, there's a lot of people. I watch TV sometimes, which I hate to admit I do. I watch these sports shows on TV, and it feels like some of the analysts don't want to give the Steelers their due, because they have this preconceived notion of who they were supposed to be. And it's so hard for them to believe that a team with a win total in the, whatever it was, 8,
it's probably somewhere there,
could be this good.
Damn.
But guess what? We got the Russ thing wrong. We got the quarterback thing wrong. And the coordinator's actually still pretty damn good. The reason Atlanta
someone
hired
in the
him.
chat actually made a great point about Russ. He's playing like he did back in 2015. He has a good defense. He isn't asked to beat the teams completely on his own. You know what I mean? And it's like,
and he has a complementary running game.
No question.
Like he didn't have that in Denver, and he had that in Seattle. And it's a great point.
Now, somebody made a point in the chat that the Vikings go 15-2, and people be like, "Yeah, I don't know. I think it was a fluke." And I hear you. It's the same thing. They're the closest version to the Steelers in the NFC. These two teams are to be taken seriously, and to me, they're in tier 1B.
Mm-hmm.
1A to me is Lions and Bills, and then 1B right behind them is a little grouping of teams that the Vikings and the Steelers are squarely in, and so are the Eagles, and so are the Chiefs. And so, Eagles fans could say, hey, we deserve to be higher. I'm sorry, the variability at quarterback right now scares me. Okay, now
put the Packers in 1B, in that 1B.
I don't think the Packers have beaten enough teams to be held in the same standard as Minnesota. I think they might be in that 1C. But the 1C, you can win a Super Bowl in 1C this year. 1C will win you a Super Bowl this year. I mean, who's Detroit's the wagon. Okay, like that's what it is. But, you can find a way. You can get there. You can get in the dance. You can get there. I mean, they just took Detroit at home to the wire. There's a lot of injuries on that team right now. So as we sort this thing out, just don't forget, like, Pittsburgh is legit. They're not, like, it's not a fluke. And to Buddy's point in the chat, like, neither are the freaking Vikings, who we're going to talk about in a second. But first, we should talk about Seattle and Arizona, as that was, as we move into the NFC, the biggest game when it came to playoff seeding. I mean, because we're talking about a division here, which kind of the result of this game, look ahead to that Rams Seahawks Week 18 game. That's going to be off the chain. That's going to be for the division.
Good chance.
I want the Rams to get in so bad after that performance yesterday.
I'll tell you, it's like last year when they snuck in.
Yeah.
Like, they went to Detroit and gave that team, who I still think they damn near. I thought Detroit should have been in the damn Super Bowl. They just couldn't finish against San Francisco. They took that team to the wire in one of the most physical ball games of the year.
Yeah.
I mean, they are so tough. They are such a tough out if they can get in. And they play the way they played yesterday. Nobody wants to play them. So you talk about their opportunity to win the division. It's there. But Seattle getting it done yesterday. And I thought the most impressive thing about Seattle is they've been looking for this run game. And Charbonnet gave it to him.
Unreal.
I mean, he was all
dog.
Yeah.
Dog. He reminds me of like Chris Carson.
Their first half, they had 10 of their 14 runs went for explosive runs. By far their best running game all season.
Yeah, and they did it without Kenneth Walker in the lineup too.
Which and they have shuffled people on the offensive line. You suspected maybe knowing they found a winning combination. I don't know. I need to see it more than once, but this is more like Seattle it's a new head coach. They have slowly climbed into this thing where they start hot, but they beat some questionable teams, including the Bengals, I guess, right? Didn't they beat the Bengals early in the season? That feels like another era.
No, they didn't play Cincy.
Oh, they didn't play. Who played? No, New England played them. So they beat New England. They beat Miami. They beat Denver. That was the start of the season. And we were kind of like, I don't know about this team. Then they get beat up by Detroit. And then they go on that streak where they lose 5 of 6.
Mm-hmm.
And now you're looking at them, and for a month straight, they've reeled off these wins. And most importantly, 3 out of the 4 have been in division.
And those division standings could really, really matter, like the in-division wins, because they are potentially could be tied with the Rams after Week 18 and have 1 win and 1 loss apiece. So it could come down to division record.
Which is huge. So these are huge wins. And again, I want to make the point about the defense. Like, look at that losing streak at how many points they were giving up. Look at this streak here against Arizona twice, New York once, and San Francisco once. And not to say they've been playing world beaters, but pretty impressive the way they've been able to keep the points down. And I think for the Cardinals on the other end of it, Kyler Murray just not playing like the guy you want him to be.
My hollow man, because he's not beating the allegations.
Oh,
Since
yeah.
The new Call of Duty came out. His last 3 weeks, he's been not good.
5 picks.
5 picks. And it's just, even if he's not playing the game, it just sucks now that it's going to
what if it's just like he's worried that people are thinking he's playing the game? It's a total mind fuck.
It's a whole mental mind fuck.
I don't think it's that. I mean, I think Call of Duty is an easy scapegoat, but I think like as the year wears on, he's proved to be a guy that down the stretch kind of fizzles. Now he has an opportunity late in this season to change all that, but
it's like
Cliff's gone.
You think it's body maintenance or like something that like he has to change for the back half of the season, like getting a hyperbolic chamber more? Or
I'd like to see him in a hyperbolic chamber.
Hyperbaric.
It's an exaggeratedly small. It's not just a hyperbaric chamber. It's like a tiny chamber. It's basically where they put babies. You know what I mean? You know when they put babies in the incubator? Make Kyler in.
He could probably.
I think it's more. The book on this offense kind of eventually teams catch up to it. But I think also what you realize is like Kyler will make bad decisions if you make him earn it. And I also don't think I've talked about this a couple weeks in a row. Like, I don't think they have the great man separator outside that they could use having. And, Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to be a damn good player in this league. But, like, some guys, he's just not everybody is a guy who's going to get a ton of separation. He's a bigger body, right? And so I'm not sure what happens. I'd have to be in the building to like really hear what's going wrong for them in the passing game. But the mistake he made against the Seahawks 2 weeks ago was huge. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's like that was such a boneheaded play. I just don't know if he has, when the play extends and you got to make a split second decision. I don't know if he's a split second decision guy. I don't know if he makes great decisions in split second moments, and I don't know if that can change. But for the Seahawks, they have improved on defense. The baggers have improved. Leonard Williams has been playing great. They got a couple edge rushers who I like. They got cover guys outside. They have a coach on defense. The reason he got hired is he's a great defensive mind. So I got to believe the defense is just going to keep getting better. And if Geno can be consistent and they have a run game, they've done all this without a run game and with the offensive line playing terrible and Geno just playing okay.
Mike McDonald plus 2,000 for Coach of the Year.
Yeah, it would have a lot. That was my pick at
the beginning of the season. Yeah, that was my pick for Coach of the Year at the beginning of the season.
Well, he's on the board.
I had
him and Geno are only three. Him and Geno are only 3 years apart.
Really?
Geno's 34 and Mike McDonald is 37.
No way.
Yeah, I just looked it up.
McDonald just had a kid, by the way. Congratulations to him.
Congrats.
Yeah, come on. We don't have to clap. We don't know the guy.
Hey.
But yeah, no, life is good. So, but I thought this is just an impressive month from Seattle. Impressive. Yeah. And if you win the division, you host a playoff game.
Next week.
You talk about who do they play next week? They play they got the bye.
Oh.
So
no, they got Green Bay.
Oh, sorry, we were looking at
Packers.
No more. Yeah. They got
Packers,
the Packers,
Vikings, Bears, Rams.
Really,
I hope it's a tough stretch.
Night game. I hope it rains. I hope it's like cold, wet rain for the Packers game.
Oh, for the Packers game in Green Bay?
Yeah. No. It's in Seattle.
No, it's in Seattle.
It's in Seattle?
Yeah.
Golly, dude. I'm just sitting here thinking, what's the Minnesota matchup look like? Because that's what it might end up being.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And I think Minnesota against this offensive line, bringing pressure, that could be a real challenge for these guys.
Yep.
Sorting blitzes and games and all the movement up front.
It'll be interesting to see where the Minnesota run defense is at that point.
And that's part of it. Okay, we're gonna talk. Let's talk about him right now. Go ahead.
Did you talk about Zach yet?
Charbonnet, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Charbonnet.
Is that your?
Yeah, that's my game ball.
Game ball Charbonnet.
Yeah, I call him Chardonnay. Pop the court.
22
carries, 2 tutties. But out of the backfield, I like him out of the backfield. He's 7 receptions, 59 yards.
I like a Riesling.
Do you?
No.
I like a Savi B. I'm a Savi B boy.
Still beasting off the Riesling.
I don't drink wine, so this is all 301.
Before we move on, I had Seattle for best flight too. Just big in division win. Not a super long flight. It's good.
Okay, let me hit let's hit Eagles Panthers before we hit Vikings Falcons.
Yay!
Shit, where do we begin?
I got a fly on the wall for this.
Oh, this was mine too.
Go ahead, do it.
Bro,
Put these guys in a split screen.
Go ahead, bro.
3.1. You got to be quicker than that, Pat. $3.1 million bet on the Birds. Fly on the wall. Like, how was this guy feeling late in that game?
Sweating.
I want to know the details behind this. Yeah, exactly.
Dude, when Xavier Legette dropped that ball, okay, I'll just say this. This game was bookended by 2 misplayed balls by wide receivers for the Panthers. I mean, there was a shot early in this game where Bryce is scrambling, everybody's in front of the receiver, guy loses the ball. It's like the end of the game, Legette dropping the ball. I think if the Panthers had better receivers, they win this game. Now you could probably say that for the 2 weeks prior. But it felt like in this game, and Adam Thielen played his ass off. Cooper DeJean has played great all year. I don't know what the final tally looks like for closest defender stats on him yesterday, but I thought Thielen got the better of that matchup. And, tip of the cap to a vet, man. Like I said in my live show last night, he met his cagey white
on white crime,
old white nemesis there. And Thielen, who's got a big enough body to really press him a little bit and create space for himself, and he's cagey. And he's been playing really well in Carolina. The 4th and 2 that he caught, like off a deflection, was wild. But overall, I think the theme of this game, if you're an Eagles fan, is like, what are we going to get out of the quarterback week in and week out? Do you want me to be honest?
Yes.
I worry. I really do. This is a very good team. This team is an incredible team. The roster is – I talked to John Clark from Philly last week in an interview, and I was like, I think the defense has a chance to be better than the defense that we had in 17. And, like, honestly, the only reason I'm not saying they are is because I don't want to disrespect our group. Like, you got to go do it. But this defense is on paper is probably better, with the guys in the back end and the linebackers. I think the offense, with the addition of Saquon Barkley, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, you have basically 2 number 1 wide receivers. You got a tight end who's one of the best in the league who was hurt yesterday. And maybe that makes a huge difference. You got an offensive line that I'd take over almost any group in the league, right? The quarterback has to play well. And I don't want to tiptoe around it. Like, I respect Jalen Hurts. He's done amazing things in his career. That MVP caliber season was awesome. But we haven't seen the same level of sustained success from the guy. Now, he's winning a lot of football games and not turning the ball over, which has been very good. But in a game like yesterday, I felt like the timing was so bad in so many situations. And that's a team that, honestly, some guys have put on their highlight tape this year. And so I don't know what it is. I don't know if it was the fact that the Panthers had a great game plan. They took away the RPOs. They blitzed a lot on second down. They brought he still doesn't know. Josie Jewell's coming on second down, and I still don't think they figured out how to find a hot. Yeah. There was a quarterback draw where he ran into the back of some guy. I just felt like things weren't clicking yesterday for him. Mm-hmm. And if it were just one game, that'd be fine. But we've seen games like this before. And so, listen, part of me as an analyst is like, I love the Eagles. I love the team. I respect the guys. I respect the quarterback. I really do. He's a leader. He plays his ass off. But I kind of get caught in this position where I'm like, I don't want to be the guy that says the quarterback's a problem, because that he turns you into like some like media guy. I'm not trying to be media guy, but I'm going to be honest. The quarterback worries me a little bit. Am I
sound tripping? A little bit like A.J. Brown right now, Chris?
Well, I don't even want to say that A.J. Brown was saying it was all Jalen. I think if I wanted to give him an out, he was probably talking about the passing offense in general, the game plan comes into question, the timing, the route tree, the route combinations, when you're calling passes. I thought they could have run the ball every play and Saquon would have gone for 300 yards. Yeah. But I think it's one of those games where you're like, come on, I'd like to see the quarterback get going a little bit. You want to use this opportunity to get him in a rhythm going into a stretch run here. And I thought the timing was just at times atrocious. And I can't really speak to why that is. He's a hell of a thrower of the football. When he knows where to go with the football, outside the numbers, deep, middle of the field, whatever it is. But I think there's some second guessing going on right now, some processing stuff that, frankly, for a guy who's been in the league this long, I'd like to see him be a little further on, further ahead on. Am I being unfair, chat?
No.
No,
that's exactly how it played out yesterday, and I agree. I think like the bread and butter of this offense is Saquon and the run game. That's what it's going to be. But this is why we talk about like a team like Detroit and how complete they are offensively, and like the way they can score in multiple ways, because especially once you get to the playoffs, everything's matchup dependent. So you get into a game with a really good rushing defense, now all of a sudden the quarterback's got to make plays, and the way he played yesterday, you worry.
So let me ask you this: you get in the playoffs in the NFC. The Rams are in. The Packers are in. You know, the Vikings are in. I don't know, just go down the list. Where does he rank in the, you know, like when you're going into the dance, where do you rank him as far as like quarterbacks? Because these games come down to coaching and quarterbacks a lot of the times. And so, you know, they have, again, built this amazing record on the strength of a damn good roster. And I think Nick should be commended for his winning percentage and the way he's motivated guys. And, like, you can tell they like him, you know. And that's not an underrated thing. Like, to be liked and respected as a head coach, to communicate well with you. When I talk to players and ask them about Nick, they say he's a great communicator. Well, that makes a lot of sense because he's not calling plays. You got to have some skill set.
Right.
To me, I always say being a communicator as a coach is way up there. So there's a reason this team has played as well as they have for as long as they have. It's not all the players, but the roster's amazing. I mean, they're like an all-star team in some respects. The quarterback, man, you know, like, and I don't think it's even like throwing the ball 20 times a game. A lot of people read into AJ's comments as that because they've been doing that. You know, this was different. This felt different because he didn't play well. And I think that's why people are looking at AJ's comments and triangulating that maybe it is about the quarterback. I'm not saying that. Look how excited they were to block for Saquon Barkley last week on some of his long runs. It's not like they threw the ball 30 times in that game. So the result, if it's good enough, they're okay with it. But if they're out of sync, and that's what it was, it felt like every time they had to throw, and it could have been an RPO, it could have been something, it could have been a screen. They were blowing up screens. Maybe it's predictable. You know, maybe people are catching up a little bit to the early down tendencies of the Eagles. But I also think the quarterback's not processing fast enough. Just be honest. And I mean no ill will against the guy. I got a lot of respect for him. But he's got to play better. And the defense played well. Listen, you know, that team took you to the wire. Bryce Young has been playing really good football. And again, that is probably the bigger story to me. Like the Eagles, he's one thing.
He's been great.
He's been
Look at the way he's bounced back this season, man. And that actually have him as my best seat, which is maybe a little surprising after a loss. But look at the way the season started for him, all right? You're bench for Andy Dalton. Your girl is seen publicly dating other people. You're down bad, okay? And now you're coming out, you're playing well the last couple of weeks. You're kind of putting it together down this stretch, building for the future in Carolina. And then he also just seems like a good guy. Like you see who is it that got hurt for the Birds? GJ.
Yeah.
Bryce Young's
He's
praying over him.
Yeah.
Like, that's not fake. Like, he's just a good dude. So, like, I'm happy for Bryce Young to come along. Chris, I know, you know, Hurts could have had a better day, but, like, the most important stat for me from the Eagles yesterday for Jalen Hurts is they're 11-2.
Hey, they were what last year at this point?
That's true. What were they, like?
So somebody in the chat said, "Hey, listen, you can win with a mid quarterback," and I'm not calling Jalen Hurts mid, but what I am saying is I agree with you, but it's just harder. You have to work around it in some situations. If he's not playing great ball, Nick Foles, you can say summarily was a mid quarter. If you want to say that, I don't think he was a mid quarterback. When you look at his heights were like he had the year with Chip Kelly, he had the year with the Super Bowl year, like he played out of his mind in the playoffs. Mm-hmm. We didn't win with a mid quarterback. We won with a great quarterback because that's what he was playing like. He was playing like a Hall of Fame quarterback.
Yeah.
And now he's not a Hall of Famer, but he was playing for a month like he was fucking Joe Montana. Mm-hmm. And part of that was he was running the hell out of the offense, and they really had it cooking. And, a lot of the things that, ironically, people are caught up to now is like whether it's the RPOs or whatever, like we took the league by storm on a lot of that stuff. Like, so I think, I agree with you. You can win with imperfect quarterback play, but the quarterback has to at least play. You look at Carolina the last couple games. Baker Mayfield finished 11-12, helped them win that game against Carolina. Patrick Mahomes led them on a game-winning drive. I don't know if Xavier Legette catches that touchdown if we're going to win that game. And part of that is because I don't really know what the quarterback's seeing or not seeing. So, anyways,
I think a couple defense
and the Jake Elliott thing. if Jake Elliott's playing well, you kick the ball to go up 9, and probably you're not even in that situation. And maybe we're not talking about it, but I still think you're watching this game and saying we need to play better in the passing game. I think that's clear. They're not coming out of this game and saying Jake Elliott. They're coming out of this game and talking about the passing game, and I think he missed an extra point and a field goal.
Yeah.
Right?
You get your worst seat.
They were able to go for 2 on the after the extra point.
Yeah. Okay. So here's the deal. Worst seat, on the topic of Jake Elliott, young lady got hit in the face with the ball. Jake Elliott missed a field goal like real bad. I don't even think she was like expecting to get hit with the ball.
Is it bad that I don't feel bad for her?
Depends. Give me the reason.
If you're
I'm with you. I'm with you.
If you're at a football game, the one thing you should be paying attention to is the football.
Yeah, keep your eye on the ball.
And to get hit in the face is kind of like how.
Yeah.
Like
if you can get your face on it, you should be able to catch it. You know?
No question.
Exactly. I
That's
I feel
on you.
bad
You gotta
for
be an
her.
athlete out there at the
You
lane.
do.
No. I'm coming around. I'm coming around. Like catch the ball. Right? Put your hand up. Like something. Pay attention.
You probably would be upset at your kids if you're at a game and the ball's coming and you look down and the ball hit them and you're like, you're not looking?
Oh no, I wouldn't be upset with my kids. But an adult woman who should probably be able to like she might have been looking at her phone, honestly. That's my theory. Because that ball's, I mean, it's barreling down on you for 40 yards.
Everybody around you is probably
It's
reaching
trying to
for the
catch
ball.
the ball. What happened? And I, like, hey,
Marsha.
I hope you feel better. But
No, that doesn't feel good.
But the kicking game's not great right now, and the quarterback needs to play better. The defense is playing lights out for the most part. I thought Jalen Carter was really disruptive. He blew up a screen. He had a couple of those plays in the red zone against the run that were just awesome. Zach Bond adding as a rusher.
Carter's an agent of chaos too.
Zach Bond was rushing on a guard. He has an agent of chaos.
That was a nice move.
That was a nice rush.
For
Yeah.
Bond.
That was a nice rush. So
6 pressures for Jalen Carter.
Ooh,
4 in the
love it.
first quarter.
I love it.
yeah, so
It was like
And-
3 on the first drive.
there's a
Yeah.
lot to love, and Carolina's turned into a team that's playing people close. So again, it's not that they beat them close. This game was this close to being 30-17, which is kind of what we thought it would be.
Yeah. You ever seen a losing streak inspire this much confidence?
What, the Panthers?
Yeah.
I don't know. Honestly, I feel like this Panthers fans are waking up this morning like, damn, we got a franchise quarterback.
You're David Tepper. Do you tell your GM we're sticking with Bryce Young next year?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
100%.
Not to get out over our skis here, but like watch the tape. The way the guys played the last month, the play extension, the on target throws, the good decision making. He threw a pick yesterday, but that was his first pick in 127 attempts or something.
Wow.
This team is playing. They're
Just like clutch performance.
yeah.
Yeah, like he's making big
Seems a lot more
plays late in the
confident.
game.
Way
He
more
led
confident in
them
the pocket.
down the field. Right, they have a chance to win that damn Bucks game if defense plays better at the end of the game.
Yeah, and then they fumbled.
And the Chiefs went on a field goal. So he doesn't really have the ball last in any of those scenarios. And then he has the ball last yesterday. He puts it right on Xavier Legette, and he drops the ball.
The last 5 games, 1-score games.
So they're building something there, which is really encouraging. Let's see how David Tepper fucks it up.
Falcons, Vikings.
Falcons, Vikings,
Got
man.
a worse seat for this.
Yeah.
Worst seat. Kirko Chains. He's trying to walk into the trap, take over the trap. No dice.
Walk into
He's got
yo
a
trap,
New
throw you.
girlfriend. Dude, Kirk has thrown 8 picks and 0 TDs over the last 4 games. That same stretch, Sam Darnold is 11 TDs, 0 interception. Worst seat, coming back to your old team and just getting basically embarrassed by the likes of Sam Darnold.
There was a fan that had a sign. It said, "We'll never forget you, Kurt." CURT.
That's so good.
It's hilarious.
That is funny.
Right. We'll never forget you, Kurt.
Dude,
Do you think Michael Penix is just not performing well? Like
no. I think this might have been. I think we might be talking about Penix this week. Raheem, after the game, was like, "No, Kirk's our quarterback," and the whole thing. And I thought he improved a lot from the week before, but the week before was like hideous.
Yeah.
So I think we might see Penix, but the thing is, as a result of this game, is like the Bucs are in the driver's seat.
Yep.
You know, Matt
minus 250 to win the division. Falcons still plus 185.
And that's a lot of the reason I damn picked the Bucs was because of the Falcons. I mean, it's like the Falcons are the Falcons, man. There's just something in their DNA. But it's also the fact that you take a big swing at a quarterback, and obviously the guy's not healthy. I really do feel bad for a guy like Kyle Pitts. A lot of people are going to say, who cares? He's getting paid a lot of money. He's a high draft pick. But, I'm seeing, hey, look where all these guys – look at all these other guys that were drafted ahead of him or after him or whatever in that draft class. Look at the quarterbacks that Kyle Pitts has played with now.
Desmond Ridder.
Yeah, I mean that should be enough. But then you get Kirk, and there's all these high hopes for. Hey, listen, the 4th and 5 early in the game, which I thought was one of the biggest turning points to me, where you're up 7-0, you're trying to go up 2 scores on the road, which would have allowed them to play their script, because Ivan Pace being down has really changed the way they play the run in Minnesota, and they have a nice little rushing attack. So if they go up 2 scores in that situation, I don't know. But 4th and 5, they go. Don't blame them. Kyle Pitts is outside on Metellus, and he stacks him. He's open. And I don't even think Kirk's looking at him because he can't get the ball outside the numbers. And, he goes to, I think, McLeod. Mm-hmm. And next thing you know, Addison on a shot, which became the theme of the day. But there were a couple opportunities for the Falcons here. I think that 4th down, and then there was a 4th and 2 that they opted not to go. And then the next thing you know, Justin Jefferson touchdown. So it was just that kind of game where they had some opportunities, and then obviously when they tie it up at 21, and Kirk pointed this out after the game, Falcons fans don't want to hear this from, but he's like, hey, listen, I felt pretty good about how we were playing when we tied it up at 21, and I didn't get the ball back until it was 35-21. As much as that sucks, to hear from a quarterback who's played as poorly as he has, like, how about, like, I'm not playing well. He's right. And, they tricked the game off. So, Kirk, early in the game, some in-cuts. We said he would hit them if the Vikings didn't change anything. And that's been a theme, playing the Vikings. He was still hitting the stuff in the middle of the field, but, like, at times it just looked a little, like, shaky, And so I think at this point you really do have to have a real conversation about Michael Penix. Now, what do you hope to gain? I'm not sure. You can't. It's not like a redshirt year. You can't burn it.
Well, their next 2 games, they have the Raiders, Giants.
It's a soft landing spot. You might have a spark. And honestly, the pass rush for this group has picked up over the last 2
games in a row.
Yeah. But I want to talk about Sam Darnold.
More sacks.
I want to talk about Sam Darnold because we've gone too long talking about the losing team. The Vikings are so impressive to me. Just the consistency, man. Like, Sam has become part of the reason they're winning these games. I think there was a big question when he was in that lull. Jacksonville was kind of the epicenter where he throws 3 picks that win like 12-7, where you're like, is the old Sam coming out? I think when the old Sam comes out is when he's not paired with Kevin O'Connell. Kevin O'Connell's going to get a lot out of this guy. Like, Kevin's a hell of a coach. The way that I think Miami elevates Tua, and I think Sam's better, but, like, this offense elevates quarterbacks. I mean, to know, and I want to give Sam his props, his athleticism to get out of trouble, I think, is what separates him. The last thing I'm going to call him is a game manager. I think people were thinking of, if it works in Minnesota for Sam, he'll probably be like a game manager. He's been the reason that they made a lot of these plays. He's gotten out of trouble with his legs. Not only that, like, the shots, they're not all dimes, but he knows when to take the shot. Mm-hmm. He knows where the matchup is. Kevin gets him there, and he makes it happen. Off script, on script, whatever it is. And I think to come into this game and say, hey, we like the matchups on Addison. We're going to feed this dude. Justin also had a big game. So the passing game for them is pretty damn versatile, spread out. They've got TJ Hawkinson, Aaron Jones, the whole thing. This is a tough group to play against. It really is. And so they deserve a lot of respect going into the playoffs. They've only lost 2 games in the NFL. It's December. Mm-hmm. I'm impressed. Everybody should be talking about this team. So just a really impressive win by them. And for Sam, awesome. I don't think you're going to get that performance every week, but love seeing it.
Yeah, I love that Greg Olsen noted, I think it was after one of the touchdowns where Darnold escapes pressure, hits Justin Jefferson down the field. He kind of highlighted the skill set differences between Sam and Kirk and the ability to make plays off schedule, and that's where they've been the beneficiary of what he can do this season.
And the other conversation, which I started to have on the live show, but I don't know if people are ready for it, is like San Francisco's getting ready to pay Brock Purdy. Who do you like better, Brock or Sam?
Brock.
I like Sam.
I mean, we are kind of riding the wave.
Look at him
saying Sam, but I think Brock's looked he's good at times too when he's had the right.
How do you not take a run at him though? Like, I know they have Daniel Jones on the roster as a little bit of a stopgap, I guess, and he's getting paid by the Giants and all that. But like, this is your guy. You're 11-2. You're rolling. If you're a Vikings fan, like, how are you not pushing for them to re-sign Darnold?
Only if you know that JJ's better. Only if you absolutely know that JJ's better, you could get a boatload for Sam Darnold right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't think that's what they should do, in my opinion. The guy leads you to the playoffs. And I think a lot of it might get decided in the playoffs. If he goes to Seattle and lays an egg, like, then the conversation's wide open. But if he has them in the NFC Championship game, they're building something. You know what I mean? Kirk got him to the never got him in the NFC Championship game. You know? Never got him there. When they got there and played us, it was Case Keenum. So there's something about this group. If they can make a playoff run, I do think you have to look hard at keeping Sam.
Yeah.
You know, at least for another year, right?
I mean, does Sam Darnold give the Vikes a little bit of a team-friendly deal? I mean, think about, or is he chasing the bag? I don't know.
He should not take a team-friendly deal.
Never chase the bag.
He's not going to, but I'm saying, like, think about how much improvement he's made under KOC and how big that has been for him. You know, I'm sure it's got to be the most fun football he's ever played.
I mean, he probably doesn't want to go anywhere else. But, like, let's say they moved on from Sam and they were like, hey, we love JJ. Who would take a big swing at Sam Darnold? And who would you like to see him with?
The Raiders.
Miami would be fun, dude.
Miami would be really fun.
You're talking about teams with quarterbacks, not the Raiders, but Miami's locked up.
Two have a lot of football left.
The Titans?
Titans. It's like he's going to go to the Titans, and the Titans with Sam Darnold is not, you know, the Vikings with Sam Darnold. Like,
dude, I honestly, the Seattle Seahawks.
Yeah.
Seattle Seahawks. I think we talked a little bit about this Geno, the possibility of them moving on from him next year.
Going to bring it back to the Jets.
Yeah, Geno back to the Jets. Little triangle.
No, Darnold.
But or Sam Darnold back to the Jets. Yeah, to your point.
Yeah.
That would be incredible. But why would you ever want to go back to that organization?
Nah.
You would never go back to that organization.
There's no amount of money.
Yeah.
No amount of money.
I'd rather be a
like,
P-Squad player for Minnesota.
I would only like, and maybe he doesn't have a choice in this thing, but like, you know, Sam Darnold, and I said people trade for him, but he's on a 1-year deal.
Yeah.
So they're not going to trade for him.
He's going to end up in like New Orleans.
So if I was him,
Tennessee.
The only place I'd want to go is like somewhere with a really good offensive scheme. Like I'm not going anywhere with some dog shit coordinator or some.
Right.
I'm not chasing the bag after this experience. I might chase it in Minnesota, but I wouldn't go out like and to the market and think like I need a payday. He was a high pick. He's got money. He just wants to win. He wants to prove that he can play, which he's gone a long way doing this year. So I'm psyched for him.
Last thing on the Vikings, are you at all worried about? They've been one of the top run defenses in the league, but
somebody just made a good point in the chat. Sorry.
Shoot.
Somebody said Jonathan A said the Rams if Stafford retires.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that would be great.
Fun.
Yeah,
I mean, it's the same. It's a pretty similar scheme, right?
It's similar enough. Yeah, I mean, it's branch of the tree.
And you got Puka.
The GM has a history of saying "fuck them picks."
Fuck them picks.
Trade the farm.
Yeah. So.
And you got a run game with Kyron.
The future is bright for him. Somebody also just threw out Stefanski.
The Browns.
It'd be a lot of fun. Do you have to piss as well? Nice. I'm not the only one in here.
Bo, you had said New Orleans. I didn't think that was a bad idea either. With like Kubiak's a good coordinator.
But
indoor.
they're in cap hell.
Yeah.
I feel like they're going to rebuild. The last place I'd want to go is like be a part of a rebuild when I just tasted that.
Yeah.
You know?
If you're the Vikings, you have to think, like Beau saying, like, this is our guy. Like
he's played like it.
And it's
McCarthy looked good in the preseason, but they're still an uncertain commodity, you know?
Not a bad example to have
McCarthy. Do you move McCarthy?
Maybe down the line.
No, develop
like right
it.
now.
Develop
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
For a year.
You don't need to. It's a luxury.
For a year.
Exactly.
But after a year,
you got to
start thinking about
if you're the
moving.
Vikings,
getting
you're going to
something
take care of Sam Darnold, but maybe not to the extent of a team who's chasing, you know what I mean? Like maybe you can come to some sort of mutual understanding where you're not paying them.
A mutual understanding.
Paying him. Mutual understanding.
You could trade him. It's
just what are the
weak draft like
right? That's what I'm saying. People could overpay for JJ.
Like a first and a third.
What do you mean? You just said, "Hey, Sam's our guy." If Sam's your guy, then what do you need to know? If you're like, I'm pretty sure Sam's our guy, then sure,
that's an even bigger luxury.
I understand having a backup quarterback is a really nice thing, but let's say
you've set up like a Green Bay situation in that hypothetical.
Yeah, but he's not.
There is. I mean,
Darnold's only what?
Let's not forget about that.
26,
29.
Yeah. He's
no,
27.
Yeah,
27.
Yep.
Which is crazy.
You're gonna couch JJ McCarthy for 4 years. What if he's not good?
Yeah. I hear you. I just think it's so hard to find a good starter that when you have one, to let him walk is almost like inconceivable.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
especially.
But do you know that? Okay, you're talking about Sam.
I'm talking about Sam Darnold.
Oh, I agree. Let's say we agree on this thing.
Yeah.
Then my point is like, if somebody wanted to send over like some good capital for JJ because this is a weak class and they loved his tape and they know he's come up under KOC, he's probably a ready-made young pro quarterback. Like you're taking that, in my opinion. Now Beau says, hang on to him. He says, hold on a minute.
I just don't think that they're going to get anything worthwhile for him.
I don't know.
That's
get a first round pick from guaranteed.
Really?
I guess the other side of the coin.
It's a weak quarterback draft.
Who would it'd have to be somebody. I'm trying to think of who it would be. It's just one in the same conversation, I guess. But yeah,
exactly.
So anyway, super interesting.
What are the odds at KOC for Coach of the Year? Because that's the other thing. It's like, if you're the Vikings, are you?
He's second.
Like,
he's second.
Make Sam Darnold into what he is now. We can plus 400.
Yeah, plus 400. And you know what the beautiful thing is? He's not going anywhere. That's why you have an offensive coach be your head coach. Like more often than not, because you're not going to lose the guy. As long as he's there, quarterback play will be decent. Right. And at times, if you have a guy like this, it'll be great. So,
the next thing that we're going to hear is a quick message from Airbnb.
Are we hearing it? I love my RV. I got a 24-footer. Take my family wherever I want to go. Even better, I can go alone. Sometimes I take Nate and Reid to Tennessee. Sometimes I'll take you to the river. I've had a lot of great trips in my RV. But what I didn't realize is that when I take my RV somewhere else, I could be double dipping. I could be making money at home while my house is vacant. I could turn it into an Airbnb. And I guess that's the point. You never know how much your house is worth. You think it's worth one thing. You leave for the weekend. You could be raking in cash. So while you're away, your home could be an Airbnb. Had you thought about that? Your home might be worth a lot more than you thought it was. Find out how much at airbnb.com/host.
Time for some flyovers?
Yep.
Starting with Bucks Raiders.
Be my guest, guys.
Bowers.
I had this for
records.
worst flight.
Really?
Worst flight. Raiders going back to Las Vegas. You get Aiden O'Connell injured. Like kind of a weird little situation there.
I think that the question I have, and I don't have an answer to it, honestly, is do you feel like Antonio Pierce has ever had a shot? I know he hadn't been great, but has he ever really had a fair shake?
No. Not
Look at their quarterback play, man.
Yeah. Like
this year, they've got nothing. They have no one to work with. Like, I love Minshew. I think Minshew's awesome. Like, I think he's like, he's like a dude that you just want to be around. You know what I mean? Like in your locker room. But as your starting quarterback, how do you can't win with Aiden O'Connell and Minch.
Seems like an organized tank job.
It does.
Like if you're gonna do it the right way, whereas you an owner, you could be like, well, like it just didn't play out.
The guys are still playing hard, which is what you want to see with a coach on, you know, a team that's struggling. But you got to wonder if, like, with Tom Brady looming and like some of the high quality decision makers in the building that have Mark's ear, like what they're telling him. You know, like, hey, he's not doing a great job. You can do better, and you probably could do better. Like, there are better coaches out there, and that's part of it. Is like, is it fair to Antonio to talk about him being on the hot seat when they've given him nothing and Devontae Adams left and they're down to like a third string running back and, you know, defense is not that talented. It's just not a lot of good things going for that group. You know, but on the other hand, there are going to be good coaches in every hiring cycle. You know, and he certainly hasn't been great. Some of the clock management stuff has been a little bit iffy, and some of the decision making has been iffy. He's also showed a lot of humility for what that's worth. Like every time he's asked about that stuff, which I think lends itself to a guy who's probably willing and able to learn, but it hasn't gotten a lot better. The point I'm making is I don't think he's had a fair shake of it, and I feel for him. Yeah. I really do.
Yeah.
So you would expect.
I don't know what
I
do.
Keep them around.
I don't know what I expect the Raiders to do. This is truly an open-ended question. And Raiders fans, if there's any in the chat, let us know. What do you think? I
think he'll be gone.
And that's probably the uncomfortable truth.
That's personally what I think.
It reminds me of what the Texans
did to Lovey, which it just unfortunately it happens to a lot of black coaches. I just say that.
Yeah.
Some people that might not like hearing that, but it does suck. Maybe he'll do like a Lovey type thing at the end of the year, which was one of my favorite things of all time. When Lovey basically delivered them C.J. Stroud. Although now with the way Bryce Young's playing, but who do the Raiders play? They have a chance to get the first pick in the draft, and at that point, I bet you they go Shedeur Sanders. I just feel like that's like when Dion's at like a banquet with Antonio Pierce.
Thank you, God.
He's like,
after every loss,
hey, draft my sons. You know,
like Shedeur Sanders.
Yeah,
he tweets that.
He tweets after every Raiders loss.
Thank you, God.
I'm not saying that's the right pick, but it just feels like that might be what it is. Like they're definitely gonna be hunting a quarterback.
Him and Brock Bowers.
Kind of fun.
Getting good together.
Kind of fun.
Go out there.
Brock Bowers is a fucking dog.
Yeah,
he's got to be Rookie of the Year.
He's amazing.
Yeah.
So good.
He could win. He could be second.
He's so good.
Was Jeremy Shockey like a baller his rookie year?
Yes.
He was?
Yeah.
Nice.
Jeremy Shockey has been he was a problem early.
Yeah.
And Michael Mayer on that team. Michael Mayer, Brock Bowers, those are two bad boys.
Anyways, I feel for this group and I feel for Antonio, but the business is the business and we are going to be having these conversations. So the Bucs, though, as Macon said when he gave out the Bucs, they're a professional outfit, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm really impressed with the way they've handled their business. Liam Cohen's done a great job. Baker's done a really good job. Todd Bowles continues.
They had a different cast of characters scoring too on Sunday. Like it's good to see Jalen McMillan get going.
Yeah,
I was hoping to see more of Mike because I want Mike to like keep that streak going.
Yeah,
you know. And I fucking love Mike Evans. Like I think he is so fucking good. For real. Like I love Mike.
You haven't given a man crush.
Really good tight end.
You don't have any man crushes, huh? It's a white thing to have man crushes, huh? It probably is.
Damn, Fax isn't biting on anything.
He's not biting on anything.
Dude, I thought Fax was gonna go off on the beer stuff.
What's your hottest take?
What do you mean?
Do you have any really hot takes from yesterday?
No, I told you, it was my girl's birthday, so I was like occupied for a lot of the day.
Got to keep the hot takes to a minimum on the.
Yeah, the hot takes I have are not
fully formed.
It's not.
I got a man crush on the CEO Man Crush Monday, the CEO assassin.
Oh my God.
What?
You said the CEO assassin.
What?
Is his man crush.
Why?
That's why Man Crush
You didn't
Monday.
see what they had in the bullets?
Why? Hold on. Why?
Dude, okay.
Somebody's going to be like, and you
Just
didn't
for
ask
everybody
him to
in the chat.
explain himself? Explain yourself.
Everybody in the chat, somebody gets assassinated, objectively a very bad thing, okay? That's just, just so we're very clear on that. A lot of this is me fucking around.
Do you need another shovel?
Dude, that whole thing. He rides off on a city bike. He's flirting with baristas at Starbucks.
Was that really him?
He writes.
He doesn't know. We don't know.
No, that's a totally different outfit.
Yeah. That was the Starbucks guy. I think was different.
It's a different guy.
Different shirt, different.
I got a man crush on him too.
You just have a crush. You have a crush on a guy at Starbucks who looks like an assassin.
Thought it was him, man. The whole saga though is incredible, and
is it incredible? That's unbelievable. Sean McDermott, we said he looks like a guy that would be walking through Central Park in a hoodie. He looks like a composite sketch. So, anyways, I don't know what these healthcare CEOs are doing, but anyways,
do the right thing. Do the right thing.
There's a San Francisco Chronicles article going around. When you see San Francisco Chronicles, it's basically that guy, the Wood from the Pandemic. The Wood from Pandemic, the guy sitting on the bed with his hidden link thing.
Yes.
There was one that was like a second CEO was murdered. Man, we were sending that everywhere. Did you send that?
That's what
we did.
Brian was like, no way, this is crazy. It's an uprising. Oh, fuck you, Reid.
Hey, my wife was sending that to people.
I said that.
There was somebody last night. She was like, I don't think she liked it.
Oh man, so funny.
I sent it to a friend of mine, and he was like, "Wow, that's crazy." And I was like, "But it's really like I could tell he didn't click it."
Yeah.
And then I was like, "Oh, it's really crazy how they caught him if you click the link." And then he's like, "I will. I'm at my company's holiday party, so I'll click it after." And then I was like, I gave the game away. I was like, "Don't click it.
No.
Don't click it."
I used to send that guy, RIP to the Wood. I used to send that guy to like Eagles offensive meetings. I would like send it to Stoutland and people that I knew that were like in there discussing things.
There's a
and if they open their
documentary
phone,
about that
it's
picture.
What's there is?
Yes, about that guy. It was for like a gay like photo shoot for a magazine.
Really?
And that like the photographer, rest in peace, the guy who's actually in the picture is dead.
Yeah, that's what I said. R.I.P. Wood.
Wood is Wood.
His name was Wood.
The photographer.
Sometimes he would faint.
The photographer talked about how like basically him being like the new Rickroll or like the meme joke, like he's making a bunch of money because he was the one that took that picture. He's like the royalties for the photographer.
Oh,
it's his intellectual property.
It's his IP.
It's his IP.
That's kind of fucked up. All right. So from the Wood to the Jags game, which we'll go very fast on the Jags game. Was this the worst football game of the season?
Yes.
The most least entertaining.
Like there weren't even chaotic things that happened, other than like Will Levis getting drilled at the end of the first half, and I was like, oh, he's dead.
Oh,
Josh Hines Allen killed him.
Man,
I was like, there's no way he's coming back in the game. Come on, you're coming around on this. Will Levis kind of tough.
He's like you know who he's like?
Who?
Is it Tyson Fury, the big guy that was like when they was fighting and he was like almost knocked out? It's like got an 8 count and he just rises up.
Yeah,
goes back out there for another round.
That was wild. I got to hand it to him.
He got hit really
It
hard.
was his throwing shoulder,
bro.
Not that he's doing a great job with the throwing shoulder generally.
Yeah,
maybe that'll help him, bro. Rookie of the year.
Like when you get hit like that, is it just like your teammates fucking up that bad, or you just don't like I don't know. As a quarterback watching tape of you, like just getting him blindside,
Dude, I think he seems like he's got a really good attitude. I'll just say that. I know you bust my balls about like saying that. I just want to. The guy could show a lot worse of an attitude for what he's been through and what he's done. Some of that's his fault, but I just hate to see Mac Jones win. I really do. I'll admit it. And it was crazy at the end of the game. Well, it was crazy at the end of the game because imagine being Shad Khan and be like, hey, we're going to pick even higher. No, you're not, because you're going to find a way to win a 10-6 ball game. The last play of the game was 4th and 15, and Levis dropped back to pass and threw the ball right to a Jacksonville guy, and he just dropped it. And if you watch the guys on the field, they were like, all right.
That's why this was my
like it was like there's not even like a let's fucking win. I'm not questioning the desire, but the atmosphere is flat there.
Anti-bevel.
Yeah.
The entire game,
bevel too.
like
really
top to bottom, just wasn't good, wasn't it?
Oh, by the way, Bevel Conway is
6.
probably Chiefs, Chargers.
Mm.
Oh,
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah, Beau is, yeah.
You said that probably. Yep. Okay. Fuck me. All right. Last one, or second to last one.
Yeah.
Dolphins, Jets. Here's my takeaway from this game. The Jets, it's in their, somebody said it after the game. I think it was Garrett Wilson. It's in their DNA to lose.
Yeah.
He was like, I don't know if it's like a DNA thing.
Mm-hmm.
And they have just found ways to lose football games. And now they've missed the playoffs 14 years in a row. It's the longest streak in major sports. Can y'all guess the 3 teams that are next on the list?
NFL teams?
It'll be fun.
NFL?
No,
Only-
major sports.
Major sports.
Oh,
Current droughts?
Detroit Pistons.
You won't get the second one. It's a hockey team.
Detroit Pistons.
No.
The New York Islanders.
No. This is going to take a while. I'll give you the first one. The Buffalo Sabres.
Oh,
It's
Stacey.
news to me. They've had a 13-year playoff drought.
Wow.
And I was surprised by this. I don't watch baseball. The Angels, all
Oh,
that
yeah.
Mike Trout,
Those are all the
Playoff.
jokes because it's like Mike Trout goes 3 for 4 with 4 home runs.
All that
or
Ohtani.
2 home, and Ohtani is
they don't
this,
ever
and
spend
the
money.
Angels lose 5-0.
you know who does spend money?
Fucking Mets.
The
God
Mets.
damn it.
Oh yeah. Worst seat, Yankees fans.
Hey,
Or sheet me, dude, last night.
Tanner's
out
like
about.
He hates the Mets.
he's like
And I love
the
Juan
Mets-
Soto.
just
so
the-
it's like the worst. Like I don't know how to feel because like
he's a Nats fan.
yeah, like
You feel good. You feel good. Your boy just got $750 million.
I got to play him all year. Like that's the main.
He's gonna be
problem.
beating. Tanner's gonna have a family, and he's gonna be at like
Yeah.
the fucking. He's gonna be at Ruby Tuesdays watching a game, and he's gonna be like, he's still
Yeah.
tormenting me.
Yeah,
So
no.
so if you're one of your favorite players goes to the team you hate, like
I
what
don't
what
know.
what,
Yeah,
what
I don't know
outweighs
what to
what?
do.
Ask a Giants fan.
My immediate reaction was suicide.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but you should always
Naturally.
You should always
Jesus
try to. You
Christ.
should always give that a
Yeah.
day.
Yeah. I gave it a day, and now I'm thinking like, if there was a way I could clone myself and then do a murder suicide. I could kill myself twice.
Shouldn't be laughing.
Jets at the Dolphins.
Oh, my bad. Sorry, guys.
No, Tanner, it's okay. People can't get mad at you. They don't even know what you look like.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He's wearing a Nats hat. He's a guy in a Nats hat.
Yeah.
STL Memorial in this game. Malik Washington.
That is
Faho
creative, though, what he just said.
It is.
Like, it's comedy. It's not,
you put
no
some
one's
thought into
being,
that.
but that's very creative.
Didn't sleep much last night, put it that way.
He was putting the LeBron times Hennessy in his coffee this morning.
Yeah.
Imagine, no offense, caring about baseball this
That's a
much.
strong start to the Monday.
Yeah.
Because when you care about baseball, you
love
really, it's 162 games
Yeah,
of
you
this
care a
shit.
lot. Yeah.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Yeah.
Okay, so Jonnu Smith
Whew.
didn't catch the ball the whole game. He's been one of the most clutch players for Miami this year. He honestly, had Tua not been down, they'd be in the thick of it in the wild card probably.
Yeah.
Although I still think when they play good teams, they wilt. But Jonnu has been so clutch for them. Would have been even more clutch had they been able to use him the whole year, the way Tua's used him in crunch time at times. Like also a lot of special moments for him this year, like throwing the ball up in the air and his kid catches it.
Mm-hmm.
And then they go to him for like 50 yards in overtime. He hasn't even touched the ball. So Jets eliminated. It's over. Dolphins
Fire.
in the mix, 7-8.
Their last 2 games will be in super cold weather. So
And against whom?
the Browns and somebody else. I got to check.
Love it.
Let's check.
Who did the Jets play the last 2 games?
The
Rodgers
Doesn't
still
matter.
has to play. Right?
Rodgers-
he has to play for a new contract.
I thought at times yesterday he looked mobile and like he was bought in.
I
Like
mean-
if you didn't know all the other stuff,
He looked good yesterday.
yeah, you'd be like, oh yeah, if we needed a quarterback next year, but like don't.
he's gonna do it for a couple
You're
more
gonna fool
games.
somebody
like that.
into thinking that like he's gonna act different.
He has to, right? At this point, because a new GM comes in. If you're a new GM in the Jets,
No, you don't
keep
want
it.
no.
Exactly. Yeah.
No.
That's smart.
Okay.
And the it's week 17 at the Browns, week 18 at the Jets.
Dude, listen, they could go 9-7. Is that going to be enough?
Probably not.
And that's the point. So pull up
9-8. Probably
9-8. I mean 9-8. I can't adjust the new.
They would have to go 10-7. Even theoretically, could not get in the AFC because we have 3 teams at 8-5, including Reid's Broncos.
So what they need is the Chargers to implode.
They need either the Ravens, Chargers, or Broncos to implode. One of those 3.
And I who's got the best chance of doing that? The Broncos because of the schedule, but I still think the Broncos are
the Ravens because
Broncos are a legit good team.
Yeah.
The Ravens because no one thinks that can happen.
Well, there is a chance. There's always a chance when you commit 14 penalties a game and the defense is up and down. So
real fast, the last thing we have to say on this game is this game should have been a Jets win. Devontae Adams, 3rd and 11 or 3rd and 21. They got 14 yards.
Oh yeah,
and with a minute left,
and
instead of turning in to the field, he turns out, which makes it easier for the defender to push him out of bounds. Stops the clock at 56 seconds. They kick the field goal. Could have had 20 seconds, then kick the field goal too. It has 40 seconds less to go down and tie the game up. And you could tell right after it happened, he puts his hand on his head. He's like, God bless it.
Brutal.
Red line.
Also, though, it just all comes back to like coaching and you know, you've broken up the group so much now at this point. It's like they probably would have been better off with Solid as the head coach and kept Ulbrich on defensive side of the ball. They might have had a fighting chance, but instead they threw the baby out with the bathwater. They were just like, all right, we gotta break everything because nothing's working.
And why, Rodgers? Why are you throwing the ball on a sideline out? Why don't you have Adams do 5-yard stop, cut in? You know, if that's your primary look, why are you throwing anything to the side of the field?
Well, I don't know. Why don't you ask Todd Downing and Nathaniel Hackett, Reid? You know,
Todd. Saints Giants.
Saints Giants. Okay, this is just my
Saints not out of it in the NFC South.
This is my best plane ride. Also, just a crushing cover for the damn Giants. Like the Saints had this on lock, and just 3-point game at the end and field goal mishap. So
Brian Breesty,
I'd STL for this one.
Yeah, I got a damn best plane ride. The best plane ride is whoever was flying that plane above Giants Stadium.
And look at this. I looked this up. I don't know if this is the company, but personal banner towing rate, all inclusive, $950 to $1,500, depending on the area and the airspace. You get 30 to 40 character letters, banner. It passes over 5 times of the location you want, and it also, you will be text messaged while and when it's going to happen.
There's got to be an upcharge that they
aerial messages
fly over an NFL game, right?
Yeah.
Well, let's find out how much it costs. We can advertise, but the thing, I love the way it's written. I love the way this is written. It's like Mr. Mara PLZ, or no, Mr. Mara enough, no comma, Mr. Mara enough hyphen.
You got to save the character.
Please politely fix his dumpster fire, as if it's a binary choice that he could be making. But it is kind of, because I do think this team is also tanking. And I, you know, like initially when I saw this and I was yucking it up and laughing about Drew Lock's quote, he was like, I don't know what Drew Lock's quote was, but it was hilarious. And Malik Neighbors was like, I didn't pay for the plane. Like, that wasn't even the question that was asked.
Yeah, like, no, yeah, exactly.
But
hey, just so you guys know, I didn't pay for this.
Here it was. Okay. Drew Lock did not see it, said quarterback Drew Lock, who began the game with 8 straight incompletions and finished 21 of 49 passing with an interception. That's going to pretty far lengths to try and take a message, but no, I did not see it. I think what he's trying to say there is like, I kind of agree. I'm not going to be here for long, and I haven't been here for long, but like this place is really fucked up. I didn't see it. And Neighbors like, I didn't pay for the plane. And I wanted to laugh, but then I reminded myself that, like, honestly, y'all sometimes ask me, all right, how bad were you guys? Or like, is that team as bad as the Rams were? This Giants team reminds me very closely of some of our Rams teams.
Damn. So like when you see those interviews, you get like PTSD.
I kind of after I was like, "Hello, darkness, my old friend." and I go back to that place where I used to have to stand at the podium after games like this, and I feel for these guys because the whole thing's been mismanaged. They're playing for a shitty organization with a sick logo that for even people in our generation, it reminds you of winning, but somehow they're the worst. Like, this organization has been awful. The two New York organizations have been awful, and these guys are wasting their time. And that's the way I felt in St. Louis, wasting my damn time, dude. Standing up there after games and being like, you only get so many of these. It's football. It's not baseball. No offense to baseball, where it's like, okay, you can suck for a year, but you're probably going to play a long time if you're good. In the NFL, like, these guys, I feel for them. I feel for Malik Neighbors. I feel for some of the defensive linemen on this team. I feel for Micah McFadden at Steele Memorial, 5 TFLs in a game. I don't even know how you do that. But it's a funny joke, but it's also not funny at all because these guys are rotting there. And, yeah, Mr. Mara, please fix this dumpster fire. Please. Best plane ride, whoever got to fly that plane. Can you imagine being the Jersey guy who's like, yeah, I'm going up to fly this. Wait till you see the banner I'm going to be pulling today. Are you at the game, bro? Like, texting his
Look
friends,
up, look up.
Look up, look up, look up. So, just wild.
They should rate how bad a team was compared to your Rams by how many homeless people are yelling at the players.
Yeah, I got yelled at by a homeless guy.
Yeah.
After the game, just yelled at. Like, it was bad, dude. And so, when I look back, I still get bitter about my career because of that. And I think about these guys and I'm like, fuck, dude, this sucks. The plane's funny, but as a player, it sucks to have to answer these questions and take the field for this organization.
We talked about 49ers Bear.
But they could be in a race for that number 1 spot too.
The Saints?
The Giants.
Oh, the Giants.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Which I thought Shedeur Sanders was tweeting out thank you after Giants losses too. I thought they were showing that too.
Was he?
Yeah. He's like doing both.
Okay.
But
so he's just thankful.
Yeah. He's just happy to.
It's the kind of guy you want to draft.
He has a wish list.
All right.
BetMGM.
BetMGM.
Little final thank you.
Final thank you. I got to get on the road. As we get ready for Week 14 of the NFL this weekend, I want you to – no, okay, because it ain't Week 14 now. All right? As we finish with our remaining BetMGM moments, thanks to BetMGM and all you football fans, I want you to picture something. You bet your favorite player his first touchdown score, but he throws a block to send a teammate into the end zone, and you lost your bet, right?
Wrong.
Yeah, there you go, guys. With BetMGM second chance promotion, you'll get your stake back if your first touchdown scorer scores second. Bet on any pro football player to score first. If you're right, you win. If your player scores second, you get your stake back in cash. Keep that in mind next time you throw in a first touchdown score bet with BetMGM. Happy hunting.
Yes, sir.
Boom. Nate, first touchdown tonight.
First touchdown. Going with Andre Yoshivas. Plus 2,500. Joe Burrow. I just can't. I don't. Who knows with the Cowboys and Joe Burrow? They like to score points, and
they like doing it.
Yeah, and
they don't like stopping it.
Yeah, and he distributes the ball to everyone, so it's hard to pick with them. So,
bro, the total is steaming up. I'm gonna get it right now.
Okay,
it's at 50.
Yeah,
steaming up,
dude. I
put it at 57.
No. But I got to feel like this is a game where they score. I'm going to go through – this is chase long right now. I'm chasing my losses yesterday, and I'm going to put in the over. And I'm not even going to see some of the game because I'm going to be at a charity dinner. So here we go. Here goes nothing.
Beau.
BetMGM.
Beau, what was your drip king?
This is actually kind of a discussion topic. I want to know if this is drip or drop. I actually had a couple of drip kings, but this is the main one, Cowboy. I don't know if you got this ready to go, but Kobe Turner's outfit last night. You got that bad boy for me?
Yeah.
Look at them boots. What do you think of this one? I don't know.
And this one has a little
Like
context behind it because
Grinch boots.
this is Kobe Turner was on The Masked Singer, and this was his character from The Masked Singer.
I didn't know that.
Oh.
Yeah, which I think is ridiculous because like Kobe Turner, great player, but when they reveal him in The Masked Singer, there's maybe 5 people in that audience who are like, "Oh, that's Kobe Turner."
Oh yeah, for sure.
You know, like
that's like
all
that's
the judges are like, "Woo!"
It's like when
great.
Brian Arakpo.
Ken Jong is he gonna be like, oh, Kobe Turner, of course.
Do you remember Brian Arakpo had a Geico commercial and they were like, Brian Arakpo. It's like the Modelo commercials where they're like, heart of a fighter. They're like, this is cruiserweight boxing legend. You know, they give his whole bio. You got to have the facial recognition when you do a brand thing.
Right.
Oh man.
Yeah, I think that's drop, not drip.
I think that's drop too.
Okay.
I like that.
And then my other drip king was the white chick celebration from Metellus and Bynum.
That was a good
pretty
dance.
Swaggy. Like that was a good little dance.
Super swaggy.
Vikings are having fun.
Last thing before we send Chris on his way, what is your viral moment there, Nate?
My viral moment of the week is going to the Seattle Seahawks social media team trolling the Cardinals with a nice Call of Duty picture.
Oh, wow.
And it's depicting the Seahawks mascot playing the video game and winning in the iconic Shipment.
Oh, yeah.
You remember Shipment?
Yeah. Is it Shipment or Shipyard or what is it?
Shipment. It's Shipment. And then they have on there that they're 2-0 versus them this year, and there's a dead Cardinal in there, and there's someone in the background, and then it's like all the Seahawks players playing in the living room, and it's funny too. If you look and you zoom in, the poster's funny in the back too.
It's just low-hanging fruit, and Cardinals fans hate it so much because they've had to hear it so much. Every time I've said it on this show or you've said it, I see in the comments are like, oh, that's so tired.
Someone in the comments said they work for Call of Duty, and they
I saw
said
that.
everyone at Call of Duty just
talks about it.
Thinks it's funny every time that narrative
That's so
comes up.
funny.
Yeah.
He's just throwing Semtex grenades like wherever. Hey, having said all that, we appreciate y'all, and we will be back Friday. Take care.